Might not even do it this year based on timing and dollars and all this other stuff, but we'll see. That's down the road. That's usually in the fall. But it came out of the recession of 2008, and golf, obviously I like golf, but golf's a big driver in this state and in our area, and it had kind of hit the tank because of the recession. So it was a way to kind of push golf courses and promote golf courses and tell everybody, hey, these golf courses are still around and still alive, and support them if you can. And that's how it kind of came to life, supporting a little local golf. So I think these times could do a little bit of that, and we're going to keep doing it in sports. I mean, we'll have some fun. We can go outside the box and do some different things. We did a little bit yesterday with that odd job or second job, not really an odd job, but a second job, and we asked that today, got a couple of responses. We keep that conversation going. But we also have a lot of sports topics. You know, the one thing that's interesting, man, we're a month away from the draft now. I mean, it's on. The Jags are, I imagine, heavy into those conversations. I think they're kind of done with free agency. I don't know if we'll see one little move here or there, but I think they're kind of done. And now it's on to the draft and fixing that draft board and 12 picks and where do they go and what kind of scenarios do you play. And I want to talk a little bit about that today, is how hard is this draft process and how much will some guys slide because of the medicals and a lack there of meetings and visits and other things where you can't answer the questions that you might have about a player if the draft stays here a month out. I think that's a fascinating part of it. So that was a long introduction. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos, hi, how are you?
How you doing, man?
I don't like jumping in with hi, how you doing? So that was my effort to not have hi, how are you doing?
Well, mission accomplished, yeah.
Do you think it's going to hurt some of these guys? Like, let me go back to 2010, okay, for you, and give us your firsthand experience of. You've told us a bunch of stories, but you went to the Combine. You were at the Senior Bowl. You were a late add to the Senior Bowl, so you got to see some folks there. And then then the Combine. I'll go in chronological order. How many visits did you make? You told us about the Buffalo visit.
Just one.
So that was the only visit, the Buffalo.
Yep.
So that didn't factor in because the Jags ended up picking you.
No.
Did you have any kind of question marks in terms of the medicals after the Combine? Did anybody want to check up on? I know you had taken us through some things, that were way back in the day.
5 or 6 MRIs, and then like 3 of them from the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to Baltimore, appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had like 6 or 7 MRIs like on my shoulder, on my knees, and things that happened way back in high school.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Were there follow-ups for some teams? Like did the
there
Jags?
were not follow-ups.
So how about this? After the Combine, you had a pro day, right?
I had a pro day.
That would have been in March sometime.
Correct.
So after the Combine, and then did the Jags go to the pro day?
There was a scout there from the Jaguars, like a regional scout. But as far as like the overall attendance, I mean, maybe 6 teams were there in total. So you kind of got the feeling that teams already knew what was up, regardless of what happened at the pro day.
So between the pro day and then the draft, maybe let's just say there's a month that goes by, 3-4 weeks, depending on when you have it. A lot of them, like for instance, Florida State's was supposed to be on Monday. The Gators were supposed to be, what's the 31st? What are we at today? The 26th. So maybe Tuesday, right? Tuesday next week. Yep. So that gives you an idea. Usually in this window, we'd be talking about pro days.
Yeah.
So after that, though, no conversations, no with your agent, no teams. Are they allowed to? I mean, is there a lot of banter that goes back and forth, or do they just shut it down until the draft?
I mean, there's obviously banter between me and my agent, but as far as teams are concerned, I think there's like a period where you can actually, like talk to people about visits, things like that, and then that period's over. So from my pro day, pretty much after that, it was in communique with my agent, I guess like my PR people, and then that was it. And then I just waited for the draft. What?
He got stories. I love it. Right out of the gates.
I think I've told this before.
I love when we all of a sudden something sparks a laugh and a story.
I think I might have told this before, maybe not. Right before the draft, I got arrested and for disorderly conduct.
You remember? Was this a pickup truck story?
No, that was a different one.
Story.
This was a disorderly conduct in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Actually, right outside the Pickle where Aaron Rodgers, I talked about that one bar,
right,
where they go grab a drink, get a shot to tip your star tenders, that spot. So got arrested literally a couple weeks before the draft. And I don't need to get into the whole story because I'm sure my mom's listening. She doesn't want to hear it again. But needless to say, I was worried like that was going to get out and then, kill any chances that I had in the draft. But I never got questioned about it. So
nobody ever asked.
Yeah.
How about that? That's
Yeah.
interesting. And now, how far in front of the draft was that?
We're talking like maybe a month out from the draft.
So it's been right about this time.
Yeah, right about this time.
Did you deserve to be arrested? Let's just leave it at that.
Let's just, I mean, I'll tell a story, man. I have no shame, and I'm pretty transparent in these kind of things. So
Now, this is the way to start a show on a Thursday.
So it was one of my friend's birthday parties. I was in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and we went on to Water Street, which is like the college spot to hang out and everything like that. We drank way too much before we even went out to the bar, so it's kind of hazy from then. But all I remember is the fact that we're standing like in the middle of the road, and this guy kind of like, I don't know if he had a problem with me. I don't know, because like I kind of stood out a little bit, but the guy didn't like me. Okay, and like me, I'm pretty calm and collected still, and I'm like, dude, whatever. Like, you're not worth my time. So I kind of just walk away from him. He's trying to cause a scene. I'm just like, nah, it's not worth it. So we go in the bar, we drink some more. Now it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock bar close time, and we're paying our tabs and everything, and I come outside, and the guy that was talking crap to me earlier on in the night is now getting arrested on the side of the street. Now, I could have just went home, minded my own business, and we would have been okay. But you got to keep in mind, this is college Austin, all right? This is petty college Austin. And I felt the need, as the guy was sitting on the curb with his hands behind his back, to literally go up about a foot away from him, kind of crouch over him and be like, that sucks, huh? Like, I started like talking smack to him. So then all of a sudden, some guy goes, hey, you need to get away from him. I turn around, and it's some guy rocking a polo shirt. I'm like, you're not going to tell me anything. I'm going to say some more to this guy. So I keep talking smack to this guy as he's arrested in handcuffs on the street. Well, the guy happens to be an undercover cop. So then I got arrested for disorderly conduct, and I get, needless to say, I get thrown in the slammer for a little bit, and then, there's more of the story after that. We don't need to get into that either.
Okay. To be continued.
Continued.
A month into the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get into that part of the story.
Yeah.
I like that, to be continued. Very nice.
Yeah.
That is such a college kid thing to
so
do,
petty,
too, though.
man. Oh, who you telling, Brett? Who you telling,
I mean,
man?
you could have just nowadays
arrested,
Austin
honestly.
would have probably just walked away giggling.
Yeah, absolutely. Nowadays, Austin would have been.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like,
Hey, did we do that in the background check? Did we check this one?
you should have checked it, man. There should be 2 up there, because the other one came on my a recruiting trip one time too. I got underage, so
I remember you telling us
that story. But needless to say, I lived and I learned from it, and it is what it is, man.
That is awesome. Well, listen, I would imagine now. That's a very interesting case for personnel people. Mm-hmm. That's nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's shoot, in the pantheon. I mean, so much is nothing now. I mean, getting popped for marijuana, it's nothing. I mean,
well, to be fair, but if you read the police
on the
report,
grand scheme of things in the NFL now, you know.
And if you read the police report, which is still at my mom's house, I'm sure it's framed someplace because I was so proud of it. It's an interesting police report because, like, the plaintiff was making mocking gestures at the arrested individual. It's craziness. I'd
like to go back to that undercover cop and be like, how often does this happen?
Yeah, I'm sure not that much, man. But you're right, though. I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, even back in 2010, I think that kind of got overlooked a little bit. Like they didn't really. I mean, once again, it never got brought up to me.
Maybe they never even saw it. But my point being, I'm interested if they did see it. Say it did come out. Say you were at the time maybe a little bit more high profile from a Power 5 school in Tuscaloosa, and Tuscaloosa knows everything that goes on. But they know when their football players go to the bathroom. So, maybe something comes out. I wonder how personnel people would look at it, be like, "Come, all right, it's nothing, whatever."
Yeah.
Or would they be like, "Dude's a month out from the draft. I mean, what kind of decisions is the guy making?"
Horrible decisions.
Now, as a defensive lineman, you might stack up in a different category versus, say, a quarterback.
Oh, without a doubt.
Or somebody else, right?
Without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Baker Mayfield, like a lot of, people worried about Baker Mayfield's whole thing when he ran from the cops, and then got tackled. People were saying that his 40-yard dash time was probably trash. That's another story. But, obviously, being the quarterback, it's a double standard type of position. So I think you're right. From my standpoint, where I think you have to be a little nuts and, a little crazy to play defensive line, I think that as long as I didn't throw a punch or anything, obviously, and I didn't threaten anybody, nothing like that. So I think teams overlooked it.
Yeah, I was going to say, some of those defensive linemen are like, yeah, that's my man. I want him.
Yeah.
You went up the draft board.
Yeah, exactly.
I want that guy standing over the quarterback.
He's so petty. Absolutely. We want him on our team.
So anyway, how much will this be affected? And players, though, because I think you're an interesting player from that standpoint of if you were getting drafted this time around, would you bump down a draft board potentially? And I'm not talking about the arrest part. I'm talking about the exposure part. I mean, and it doesn't sound like – it sounds like the Jags had tape on you. They saw you at the Combine. A bunch of teams talked to you at the Combine. They saw your stuff. So they know who you were. You weren't some obscure guy. You weren't like – I felt like Quincy Williams last year was obscure. He wasn't even on anybody's radar. I feel like you might have been on people's radar a little bit more back in 2010.
Yeah.
And so maybe it didn't matter because it sounds like if you only took one visit, well, the visits didn't matter. The pro day, you only had about 6 teams there. Well, that didn't really make that big of a difference.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind, too, scouts, I mean, see, to me right now, what's going on with the coronavirus and, not getting necessarily a lot of pro days in, not getting those visits in, to me, this is an opportunity for the regional scouts to actually get an upgrade, and this is an opportunity for the regional scouts to be like, all right, let's go ahead and move this guy up to maybe like I don't know, what comes after regional scout? I guess main scout, whatever that means.
I mean, it could be like a director of college personnel or player personnel.
Exactly, like a director, whatever it is. But basically what I'm saying is because those scouts are the guys that come during the season of your senior year or even your junior year. When I was a junior, there'd be scouts coming by after practice to talk to me. So literally we had practice in the mornings. We had practice at 6 a.m. Sucked. Went till 8, and then I had class at 10. Well, after 8, I take a shower, I get my breakfast, and then I meet with scouts until 8:39. Then I have to go to class. So that's kind of how it went. That's how it goes for a lot of players, where scouts actually start to do the vetting process before the college season's even over. Now, I think for some guys, it can be a lot to handle, right? Dude, you're trying to pass economics. Now you have to talk to scouts on top of it. You have to go on top of the board right before. It can be a lot to handle, but that's what the regional scouts do. So I think even in terms of personality and how how players can fit their team, you see that happen way during the season of the senior year of college football.
Yeah, just don't come on a Thursday night in college.
Don't come on a Thursday night.
Don't come by for the scouts.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, a little bit more on that topic of the draft and how much will be impacted. Daniel Jeremiah had an interesting tweet today, and he's been through that scouting process. He knows what that entails, and I'm interested to see if you agree or disagree with that. Should the draft go on? The GMs are pushing back, it sounds like. And does it matter if you do it in May instead of April? Why is the NFL so hell-bent on keeping business as usual, even if they have locked doors around the league? I mean, nobody's in buildings. They're not allowing that anymore. Yet business has gone on as usual. Should the draft be that? And Adam Schefter even suggested a 7-day draft. Would you sign up for that? We'll talk about all that and more. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Becoming partly sunny today. Temperatures not quite as hot, in the 70s at the beaches to the 80s inland. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Jacksonville Truck Center is here to help you get in the truck you deserve. When you need a fleet vehicle, Jacksonville Truck Center has the largest selection of pre-owned commercial vehicles, including cargo vans and work trucks. We're here to make it easy for you. There's commercial or personal financing available, even if you have bad credit. Don't spend your tax return money anywhere else. Visit the new Jacksonville Truck Center on Arlington Expressway next to the Southside Connector or online at jacksonvilletruckcenter.com.
Shop now and save on these items and many more during the March into Spring sale at your neighborhood Ace. Proven winners, gorgeous Blew My Mind perennial flowers, just $4.99 in the 1-gallon size. Get Fertilome 1648 premium lawn food from Ace for $19.99 in the 40-pound bag. Wet and Forget mold and mildew cleaner in various sizes and applications on sale now from $15.99. Find more great deals and the location nearest you at acehardware.com. Sale ends March 30th.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Buy online from the comfort of your home when you shop arlingtontoyota.com. At Arlington, they get it. They know right now things are different. But instead of thinking of things we can't do, Arlington is focused on what we can do, like shopping online from home at arlingtontoyota.com, getting your ride delivered to your door, Even the parts department will deliver parts to your door. And service? Drop it off and they'll give you a free ride home. I knew I always liked Arlington Toyota. Plus, you can still get savings up to 50% less on the ride you've been wanting. And it's all at arlingtontoyota.com. Like a 2020 Toyota Camry. It's not $26,995. Now it's only $22,791. Yeah, $22,791 for a pre-owned 2020 Toyota Camry at Arlington. How about a 2019 Toyota Sienna? Don't pay $28,225. At Arlington, it's just $22,691. Just $22,691 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Sienna at Arlington. For shopping with all the comforts of home, visit arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/50% off for offer details. This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Madden Advisory Services, Tire Kingdom, Larry's Giant Subs, Bullseye Pressure Washing, Best Behaved Pup, Taylor Sign and Design. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
CGC Water Treatment is celebrating Connecticut's 50th year anniversary with 50% savings for you. Purchase a Premier softener and save 50% off a K5, Connecticut's premier reverse osmosis system. When the shelves at the store are empty, it's a great feeling to have purified water right at home. Call 904-694-2242. Financing available with approved credit. Don't worry about needing bottled water. Call 904-694-2242 or visit cgcwater.com. Tell them Brent sent you. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer. J. David Tax Law wants you to know that they are here to help individuals and businesses with tax debt issues during the coronavirus pandemic. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Tax problems can be extremely stressful, especially now. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. These programs expire on July 15th, so don't wait. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. With a $1 trillion economic stimulus package on the way, the IRS will be collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777 or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
It's times like these that remind us all of how precious life is and how our love and relationships are what really matter. At Diamonds Direct, we believe this. Your love and well-being are truly our passion. That's why we've decided to temporarily close our showrooms, a decision rooted in caution and compassion. But rest assured, we are still here for you. Diamonds Direct's experts are behind the scenes helping customers 24/7, giving you access via text, live chat, email, or our special customer hotline that you can call anytime. Remote shopping options and expert guidance are always available, and our commitment to serve you is stronger than ever. Please visit diamondsdirect.com for more information or to start a remote shopping appointment. At Diamonds Direct, we're honored to be the symbol of your commitment to each other. And while we wait during this uncertain time, we encourage you to be safe, cautious, and courageous as we look forward to better days ahead. It's still your love, our passion, and nothing can change that. Not now, not ever.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents, instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not on the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com. Or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Duval Honda, Solomon Ventures, Inside Out Window Washing, Emergency Systems Inc., River City Kitchen and Bath, Z-Trip. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
The Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats. HQ Trivia officially died over the weekend. Heck of a run, though, right?
Not really. It ascended to the mountaintop and then fell very quickly.
Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast.
Coos. Those are hard to find. We were just saying, I said, you got a little take me out to the ball game, and that was a good one. It's not easy to find. There are some horrific renditions of Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Literally, that whole intro, I don't know if you see, I saw, but I was like, I probably watched like 17 different
Which one did you end up landing on? That was the Cubbies, but who was
No,
it?
you didn't. This one? That was the Phillies one.
Oh, that was the Phillies. I thought they said Cubbies.
Root for the Phillies.
You were saying you've actually sang Take Me Out to the Ballpark before?
No.
Oh, I thought you said you did.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Way off.
I mean, I've sang Take Me Out to the Ball
Game.
But
not like at a shrimp game or anything.
No.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Yeah? You wouldn't do that?
It's a Cubs ritual. Nobody else really does it like that.
Oh, they don't do it? Okay,
they play like that. Like they'll play like an
but as
organ
far as
or
like
recorded. But
like a special guest singing.
Yeah, that's all Chicago Cubs.
Gotcha.
I don't think anybody else does that. I mean, I think that's only Chicago Cubs.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so it's supposed to be Major League Baseball opening day today.
Yeah.
No Christian Yelich.
Does
Yelich get any of the money that he signed up for?
I mean, I hope so, man.
Probably a big signing bonus.
The fact he's only making $200 million now, like, I'll give some of my paycheck to him because once again,
only $200
I mean, like, I just feel like you're like the best player in baseball, and you're taking hometown discounts, man. Nobody tell Christian Yelich he's the best person in baseball because he's gonna want like a pay raise.
I brought some gifts today.
Oh, got Cracker Jacks?
Cracker Jacks
nice.
Here for Cracker Jacks.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Cracker Jacks here.
Dude, I haven't had Cracker Jacks since I was like
And look, 10. For your Braves fans, I found peanuts.
Where do you get those from?
The Braves.
Where are you getting those from?
Publix.
Really? They have Atlanta Braves peanuts at Publix?
Why not Jumbo Shrimp ones?
Yeah.
Well, I had no idea. I didn't know.
They had regular peanuts there, too.
Okay. I didn't know Atlanta Braves had their own thing in Jacksonville.
Peanuts here.
Okay, we got some peanuts here. I like it. Can we get some cold beers? Or?
Yeah, well, I was thinking
the
of that.
bosses aren't here, so
should I just put one down here?
Because the boss isn't here.
Isn't there like a radio rule where you can have like one?
You guys actually,
well,
in
that case,
you guys are technically allowed to. I don't think I am because I'm operating the board. I think you're actually good. Like
really?
I think legally,
that is crazy to me.
I'm gonna remember that.
No, it being
what other job do you actually drink on the job?
Really crazy. Probably a lot of them, but that's really crazy.
It being on camera and on stream probably. The company wouldn't like it.
Might be a little bit different. By the way,
it's going to hurt our target audience.
What other job can you be drinking? What can you drink on the job right now? Everyone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everyone.
From home.
That's a dang good point. Absolutely.
We're not encouraging that, people.
No.
Disclaimer here from ESPN690.
But I understand if you have kids, go ahead. Crack one open.
The last Phillies game I ever went to was an opening day game against the Red Sox.
Really?
And Mookie hit 4 home runs in a row off us, and we were up in the nosebleeds. And that season, the fans turned quick. I mean, opening day, it was probably the second one he hit. They're like, season's over. Let's all go home.
Ty was telling me today, he said, like, there's a power rankings. I don't know where he was reading this stuff, but he said the Braves were up there, and obviously the Dodgers and the Astros were up there, and I don't know, name your team, whoever else that makes sense.
Where the Brewers at?
I don't know where the Brewers. I didn't know every team. But he said the Red Sox were number 19. I was like, the Red Sox are 19th in the power rankings? Oof. Oh, the Yankees were up there, obviously, but
of course
19th. And then I said, you know what? Well, they don't have Mookie Betts, they don't have Sale, and they don't have David Price. They just got rid of him too. So maybe it makes some sense. You know, it'll be fascinating. Really, this Major League Baseball season is if they only play. Say they played half the games. Mm-hmm. Well, you could get a team, there's some teams that they surprise the heck out of you and hang in there for half the season. Well, then they just don't have the horses to do it for the long term. Be interesting if we see any of that this year, that you could get this surprise team that all of a sudden nobody expected them to do this.
Yeah.
And then they're doing that. Would be interesting to see.
All right. So, Red Sox, according to ESPN right now, are 19 in the power rankings.
19th. If you
World
did
Series
power
odds,
rankings all the way back to the start of this century.
I'm sorry. The Red Sox are 75-1 to win the World Series right now.
Well, I guess it makes some sense. It's just a little astonishing. Because they've won so much this decade and really this century, to see the Red Sox, and they still have some big name guys, but they have lost a bunch too. Where's Washington?
The Nationals we have at
Give me the top
7.
five.
Okay, top 5. We got number 1, Los Angeles Dodgers.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What else is new? Number 2, New York Yankees.
Makes sense.
Number 3, Houston Astros.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, I was saying that he's a Rays fan.
Well, maybe you can get some friends together and go watch some ball games and save that franchise because they need it. Number 5, Minnesota Twins.
And who's the fifth one?
The Twins, Minnesota Twins.
Where are the Nationals?
Nationals are number 7.
We got to get Baldelli on the show.
Get him on the show. I'll tell you what, I don't appreciate the Cardinals being number 12, the Reds being number 13, and then here's Milwaukee in last place and number 15 in the division.
It's a tough division.
Well, set aside from the Pirates, because the Pirates, But
I was kind of listening.
Pirates.
I was kind of listening. Where did you say the Nationals were again?
The Nationals are at number 7.
Okay, I thought of this. This is going to be easy. Actually, it's going to be hockey, I would imagine. Who's the team you forget who won last year? Okay, so you had the. Let's go through it, right?
Yeah.
The Chiefs. But I will say this about the Chiefs. The Chiefs, nobody's even talking about the Chiefs the last few months.
That's a good point.
They won the Super Bowl, and yet I feel like nobody's talking about them. They had no moves in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
They sound like an XFL quarterback as their third string guy. But the Chiefs, they feel like they've got Patrick Mahomes, they've got Andy Reid, and I understand they're the Super Bowl champs. But if you think about the teams that have been mentioned and talked about a lot, the Patriots obviously because of Brady. Now the Bucks, of course, too.
Yeah, but
Eagles, Cowboys,
the Eagles, when they won it seemed like it was like a never-ending.
Well, that's a good
story,
call, right?
In 2017,
New England obviously has had kind of the stranglehold on that topic, and so everybody's always talking about New England. But I think that's a good call. Like the Eagles were way more in the news.
You have Doug Peterson releasing books. You got Jason Kelsey going crazy in his Mardi Gras outfits.
Why is that? Isn't that weird?
It's the underdog, man. It was the ultimate underdog story. It was the thing where nobody really counted the Eagles to win anything. Wentz goes down, so it's like, they're done. And obviously, you got, I think it was Chris Long rocking he was wearing like the dog mask and everything.
Yeah.
So they embraced the underdog role.
And obviously, the full story.
But they won. And America embraces the underdog story. So I think they had something to do with it.
But it got me thinking a little bit like that today because of that. Kansas City is, I'm not saying they're irrelevant. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I thought I would hear more about them as Super Bowl champs in the last couple of months. And you really haven't. That was only 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you really haven't heard much about them. You heard about all these teams. And it could be because, the good teams you don't talk about a lot in the offseason because it's the bad teams you're talking about in the offseason. That would be a fair point. I still thought we'd hear more. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes, man. He's the face of the NFL right now. And yet, I don't know if I see him anywhere. Is that a little bit of the coronavirus? Like, we're not seeing him on talk shows. We're not seeing him interviewed by ESPN. We're not seeing him. Is he on the cover of Madden or something like that? I don't know.
I guess here's let's just do a little yearly wrap up here of what happened in sports, right? Where the Kansas City Chiefs, they win. And to be fair, I think they're expected to win. Now, no, they didn't have the number 1 seed in the AFC that belonged to the Ravens, and there was a lot of hype around the Ravens. But I think we were so spoiled what happened, 2 years ago with Patrick Mahomes when he sets all these records and everything, and he's the NFL MVP. We all just kind of assumed, well, eventually it's going to happen, right? Like they're going to win one. And then even when they got to the Super Bowl, and they played San Fran, it was literally a coin flip, man, because San Fran was a fantastic team too, but I just thought we expected, Patrick Mahomes is going to come out here, do his thing, Travis Kelce, too many weapons, and they're going to end up winning the ball game, and that's what happened. So it almost like the whole season, as we're following the NFL, it's like, this is starting to line up a little bit for maybe Patrick Mahomes. No, you called it. I remember you called it, because I was all about the Saints, and then I was about the Ravens. you called it when Patrick Mahomes came back. He said no one's talking about the Kansas City Chiefs right now because of Patrick Mahomes' injury.
Yeah.
Right? But I still think once he came back, the writing was on the wall. But if you review the entire year of sports, though, Brent, what do we have? We have the NBA. Nobody predicted the Raptors to win a championship.
That's right.
Are you kidding me? We have the St. Louis Blues, who had the worst record in the NHL at the All-Star break.
What a great story.
And a fantastic story. And then you have the Washington Nationals, who come out of the wild card, barely make it through the skin of their teeth from Milwaukee Brewers. Some errors cost the Brewers that game. And the Nationals go on to win the whole thing. So, you had these improbable teams win championships, and the other side you just had the Chiefs doing Chiefs things.
Yeah, it's a good point. But so just real quick, who do you forget about? Like, those were great stories. The Nationals were an unbelievable story, including Howie Kendrick and his local ties here. But the Blues were a fun story. And remember that young lady who they pretty much adopted on the team?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great story.
Yeah. Gloria.
The
Gloria,
song.
that's right.
And Toronto, it will probably be the most overlooked championship in NBA history when it's all said and done. But some of the shots that were hit, obviously, by Kawhi Leonard, and now that he's not there anymore. But the story about Toronto is I feel like I have heard their name a little bit because people are surprised they've been good this year. They were good until everything stopped.
True, and probably in the country or in Canada as well. I mean, I'm sure they're excited, but let's be honest, they're a hockey. They're hockey towns over there. So I'm like, Raptors, all right. But hey, can the Maple Leafs get it going, please? So
it might have been. This would be a great one to say, and I don't know how to phrase this, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's fan base here or anything like that, but because Toronto's a big city, right? Mm-hmm. Washington, obviously, big city, or kind of city. Yeah, it is. It's not. Yeah, Washington, big city, District of Columbia. Mm-hmm. The St. Louis Blues, St. Louis is a big city. But what I'm saying is those are not premier teams. Kansas City Chiefs, they're not the premier teams of their leagues.
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And that all four are in that category. Like, if you had to name the top 5 teams in the NBA and Major League Baseball, NHL, and NFL, none of those teams would make the list. No. Heck, they might not make the top 10.
Yeah. You're right.
They really might not make the top 10. Like, if you think of perennial franchises.
Sure.
And they're all carrying the trophy. Maybe that's a little bit why we haven't heard as much about it.
I mean, that could be, and especially we've been so accustomed to dynasties now and everything like that, too. Like, to me, a good Super Bowl or a good Stanley Cup, I mean, you need at least one of those teams, to me, that's been there before. You don't need 2 teams that are, like, kind of fresh on the block and everything like that. And, like the Nationals, they had the Astros, right? And the Astros, were the team to beat the whole year, and the Nationals come out and they beat them. And the 49ers have been, the Super Bowl before a little bit, but they've still kind of, the past decade or so haven't had the most success, obviously. So I think you also need a good dancing partner to go along with that. Like, if you're going to win a championship, it has to be against someone that obviously is a formidable opponent.
Kuz, we have somebody on the line? Still there, hanging. Appreciate it. By the way, before I forget, when we're done, we've got to Lysol the packages here. Since
good call.
I hand them to you.
Yeah,
see,
man,
I forget these things.
I'm putting us all at risk here, Brent.
I was just trying to do a nice thing on opening day, but make sure that you Lysol it up.
Thank you very much.
Clorox or whatever you're using right
we
now.
We
hand sanitizer.
We have Clorox today, Brent.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Steven's on the line. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690. Thanks for hanging through our sidebar there and tangential topic. What's up, man?
Thanks. Big fan of you guys and huge Jazz fan. I have a question, and I would like to know your opinion. They've been filling in free agency defensive holes that they've been needing, but my opinion is, should they, in the beginning of the draft, go straight for offensive weapons for Gardner Minshew? Like maybe number 9 pick, maybe go Henry Ruggs, wide receiver from Alabama. Got a great hands, great route runner. And let's face it, maybe the only person to keep up with him is maybe Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm. Steven, good question, man. Thanks for listening to Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Everybody invited to jump on in, by the way, 904-362-9901. And it's a great question. In fact, somebody actually said it to me in similar context the other day. It sounds like they're going defense a lot in free agency. Will they go offense in the draft? And I think if you look at them over time, a lot of people subscribe to that. It's like, okay, if we're going to build this year, we're going to build and add through the draft on this end of the football, this side of the football for the most part. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, we'll go through free agency and plug a few holes in. What's interesting is you could make the case that the Jags feel like they have a lot of their offense in place with that offensive line, with their receivers, a group of. They tendered Keelan Cole. They brought back Conley. Westbrook's a part of it, and DJ Chark's. I mean, that's 4 receivers that they feel like they can rely on. I'm not saying they don't need help. I'm saying they feel like they can rely on the quarterback, the running back, even some of the young running backs. I mean, there are not a lot of holes, I think, that they feel. Now, I believe they can get more dynamic. I think they can get better in some of those spots. But to Steven's point, I was Steven's point.
I see you, man. Good call.
That was not on purpose.
Shout out to the pointers. Go
but
pointers.
I think what he's saying is not wrong, but I wouldn't pigeonhole the Jags on offense in this. First of all, they have 12 picks. They can go both sides of the ball if they want. But I think you're talking about those first 4 rounds and maybe even the first 3 rounds. So really you're talking about 4 picks to 7 picks, and which way are they going to go to have instant maybe help?
Yeah.
And I think it's a great story. It's a great debate. Do you go with, we're going to get into this today. It's one of our topics, is that defensive front, Javon Kinlaw, Derek Brown. Why isn't anybody talking about anybody else? Are there other options at 9 or 20? But Steven brings up a great point. I think you need to do more to help Gardner Minshew. Does a guy like Ruggs or Judy or C.D. Lamb, do they do the best job to help Minshew? On top of that, could you make the case that one of those offensive linemen gives you a better offensive line instead of, say, a Cam Robinson playing left tackle? You get an upgrade at left tackle with one of these guys at number 9 or even number 20 if they were to slip. So you can sell me on that. I think the Jags right now are very much up in the air on which way they want to go.
If you would have asked me this question to start out the 2019 season, I'd have been like, don't worry about wide receivers. Well, they can get them when they can get them. I'm not worried about taking wide receiver in the first round. But then I see guys like DK Metcalf, and I see guys like Brown from the Titans, and I even see guys like Andy Isabella, who only played for a shorter period of time but still made an impact. I see those guys, and it's like, man, that's instant impact, all right? Like, one could argue that Ryan Tannehill had a lot of success because A.J. Brown was
Absolutely.
there.
Look at his numbers in that stretch.
It wasn't Corey Davis. No offense to Corey Davis, former first-round pick from Western Michigan, I believe. It wasn't Corey Davis. It might have been a little Tajay Sharp, but it was all A.J. Brown, okay, a rookie wide receiver. So you have to ask the question, Brent, if you could have a DK Metcalf or an A.J. Brown on your team right now for the Jacksonville Jaguars, would you take it? And you absolutely would. You'd be absolutely insane not to turn it down. Now the question comes, obviously, is C.D. Lamb? Is, Jerry Jeudy? Is Ruggs that type of player? And, they're different types of players, obviously. Like DK Metcalf, he's kind of a one of a kind, right? Like, no one's going to look like that. He looks like an action figure. He looks like a G.I. Joe. All right, they don't make a lot of DK Metcalfs. But I look at C.D. Lamb and be like, man, guy's pretty legit. He runs great routes. And I get it. You have DJ Chark, fantastic. Man, he had a great year last year. D.D. Westbrook, obviously, kind of underachieved a little bit. Big question marks going into this year. Chris Conley, okay. But to me, the wide receiver position, it's always like a defensive line position where you can add depth to it. You can always add more weapons, especially, with Gruden, who likes to spread the ball around a little bit. If you go after C.D. Lamb, if you go after a Ruggs, and especially now, Ruggs, he's like, it's maybe 6 feet. You look at his size, it's like, well, he's not a prototypical one receiver. Well, guess what? Neither is Tyreek Hill, but it works out just well for the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
I thought he was a return man.
Who's that? Oh, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, so to me, at number 9, I don't see it happening. But at number 20, with this quote-unquote deep wide receiver draft, which we've been told, the whole time here, where if teams maybe taper off a little bit and teams kind of let the wide receivers get picked a little bit and wait till later on in the draft. I mean, if there's a C.D. Lamb there, if there's a Ruggs there for some reason, it's a possibility. Because once again, what have we been talking about the whole time in free agency? Helping out Gardner Minshew. To me, getting a legit wide receiver in the first round helps out Gardner Minshew even more than an offensive tackle would. Because once again, I think Cam Robinson, whether you believe it or not, maybe the knee was bothering him a little bit. Maybe he comes back next year and has a better year. Or this year.
Mel
upcoming.
Kiper Jr., by the way, I think mocked 7 wide receivers in the first round.
Really?
7 wide receivers in the first round. Let's stay on the topic. We'll come back. Offense or defense? Which way should they lean in the draft early? I'm talking early. I'm talking impact players. And I'll give you, if you missed it, I kind of did this last week. I am convinced they are not taking a receiver in round 1. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but the MO, the front office I know, and I think I have a feel for down there, is not picking a first-round wide receiver. But it's all about upgradability. You know that GIF, whatever.
GIF, there you go.
GIF,
Get it right. GIF,
whatever it is.
Get it right, GIF.
You know that one where he hit like upgrade?
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell me that they have spots that are occupied.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that there isn't upgradability all across that offense.
And let me ask you this. What was the biggest problem last year, Brent, for the Jacksonville Jaguars on offense? What would you say? I would say the red zone.
Oh, good call.
Yeah. I mean, you've got like T. Higgins, 6'4", big-bodied receiver. Intriguing.
You get me excited. Let's talk more about it next. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Golick and Wingo.
That's your first mistake is leaving read receipts on. Don't do that to yourself. Friends out there, reach out to the screen and receive this blessing right now. Turn your read receipts off and vice versa. You don't need that mental warfare in your life.
Where are read receipts?
I'm going to do the Men in Black thing right now. We're just going to completely erase what just happened there from your thought process. Read receipts aren't a real thing to you. Okay. And that goes for everyone listening. Cool. Remove it from your life.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
The comforts of your home. Sounds good, doesn't it? And our friends at Arlington Toyota agree. That's why they're making it easier than ever to buy from the comforts of your home with ArlingtonToyota.com. When you go to ArlingtonToyota.com, you can choose from page after page of new Toyotas and pre-owned inventory. In fact, you can complete your transaction all online, and Arlington Toyota will deliver your vehicle to your home. Easy, right? And if you need an easy way to get your car serviced, Arlington's got that covered also. Just drop off your car for service and get a free ride home. Need parts? Arlington Toyota will deliver parts to your home. It doesn't get any easier than that. Online shopping with Arlington is one way to buy, but they also want you to know they're following all CDC and health department guidelines and taking every precaution to clean commonly touched surfaces. Arlington has a full-time cleaning staff, 7 days a week, because keeping their Arlington team and their loyal customers safe is their top priority. Shop from home, get your new ride delivered to your door, all with ArlingtonToyota.com. From everyone at Arlington, stay well and know their team is here for you.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
All offers with approved credit and out of conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Ram Truck Month.
We're in a battle to sell the most pickups this month.
We battle.
You save. At Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington. Get a brand new Ram and save up to $14,000 off MSRP. Find out why we're beating the competition on Ram trucks.
Gas or diesel.
For a limited time, save up to $14,000. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington. 9600 Atlantic Boulevard.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Jiffy Lube, Metro Diner, North Florida Movers, Hancock Whitney Bank, Crosswinds Veterinarian Hospital, Shredder's Family Farm. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
First Take, your take.
Who should be the highest paid athlete in all this? Is we're going to have this conversation about who wins the Super Bowl next for Patrick Mahomes. Is it payday?
First Take, your take with Jason Fitz from 1 to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and in the TuneIn Radio app.
What are also a lot of people who the fans want to come back? What's going on with them right now?
Right.
A lot of them aren't making money.
Correct.
So all of a sudden that disposable income that you could use to take your kids to a game might not be there for a while, a little while. So the trickle effect on this is obviously going to be huge.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be, okay, here we go. Things are just as they were last summer.
Not
no,
gonna
I
happen
think
that
it's
way.
going to be a slow stream back, and it may take a little longer than some people realize.
Go Look and Wingo each and every morning, 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. on ESPN 690. Make sure you check out the show in the morning as well. And keep it locked on ESPN 690 all day long, including us, 3 to 6 here on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Thursday. Hope you're doing well, everybody. Hope you're kind of settling in and getting work done and family time and trying to take some of the positives out of what has become a bizarro world in a way in the last couple of weeks, and it's not changing anytime soon. So make sure you stay up with the latest on Action News Jacks and WOKV, 104.5 WOKV on the radio side, and, of course, on TV, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Here we'll try to entertain you a little bit with some sports and do what we do every day, talk sports, because we got plenty to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Talk sports all day. We could talk a lot of different topics. So let's stay on the one that Steven got us on. Do they go offense in the draft? And this has been a fascinating point in my own mind. Like, what do they do? And let me just, here's where I'm going to go with it. In my opinion, I do not think they get one of these top flight wide receivers in round one. And I'll just reiterate what I said, and I'll do it very quickly. I said this last week. If you look at the MO of the Jags and Dave Caldwell in this front office, I don't think we've seen enough evidence that they'll go do that. Now, you're going to tell me, well, they went and got Leonard Fournette, and that was a little bit out of character. I agree with that. It was. That was a mentality play. That was also heavily, well, you could debate whether it was heavily influenced by Tom Coughlin at the time. I think that was an attitude play and a style play, and so I think that was a little bit more of a one-off. The reason why I hesitate to say the wide receivers would go at 9 or 20, and you could convince me maybe a little bit more if they trade back and it goes to like 28 or 27. But 9 and 20, I don't think so, because one, they need some big bodies. Two, they have too many holes to fill. Three, there is so much depth in this draft when it comes to wide receivers. We all know that. We're sick of hearing about that. And four, the Jags have shown an ability to find talent in the second round with wide receiver anyway, regardless if it was a deep draft or not. Allen Robinson, they also picked Marquise Lee that draft, but Allen Robinson certainly has proved out. And, of course, now DJ Chark is proving that he was a good selection in the second round. The Jags thought they got a ton of value there because they thought he was a first-round grade. So those are examples that I think the Jags will lean on. And they'll say, you know what? This is one of the deepest drafts, and even in drafts that weren't as deep as this, we were still able to find productive, very talented players at the wideout position. Why are we going to go spend a number 9 overall pick or number 20 overall pick on a receiver when we can almost accomplish the same thing? The only question, man, is this. Do they rate one of these guys off the charts? And I understand Judy and Ruggs, even Higgins to a degree, but definitely CeeDee Lamb. Those guys have been grouped as kind of the separation. Higgins is kind of climbing into that category. He is an intriguing guy.
He is.
But are they Julio Jones? Are they A.J. Green? Are they even Amari Cooper? Because if you don't feel like they're that guy, then I don't know if I'm spending a first-round pick in this draft on one of those guys.
To be fair, though, when Amari Cooper came out, like, he wasn't really known for his speed. He was known for his route running ability and just being a very dependable receiver.
But he was always a top 5 pick candidate.
Oh, no, he was always top. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think he was the first wide receiver obviously taken in the draft, and he had all the hype around him. But I'm just saying, like, if you looked at Amari Cooper coming out of college, I didn't think Calvin Johnson. I didn't think Julio Jones. I just thought, all right, this is a pretty dependable receiver. We'll see what happens. And remember, when he got to Oakland, I mean, he did okay. And nothing a first-round draft pick should be worthy of. But then he goes to, Dallas and obviously has that resurgence. And now he's one of the best wide receivers, arguably, in the league. So he obviously found the right system, the right team to get on with. But I'm just saying these Calvin Johnson types, these Julio Jones types, even these DeAndre Hopkins types who – DeAndre Hopkins wasn't a first-round pick. I mean, he came from a very talented wide receiver pool from Clemson, but he wasn't a first-round pick. But my point is, these prototypical first-round guys, you don't really see them. For whatever reason, you don't really see those guys that much anymore. Now, you see like the N'Keal Harrys and, you see the taller receivers of the world, like the guy we just mentioned from Clemson. But they're not like the game changers. They're not the guys that are going to run 4 threes like Calvin Johnson. I think Calvin Johnson ran a 4.3 or 4.4. So you're not going to see those anymore. So it all comes down to, Brent, every team I feel like has something different that they're looking for at the wide receiver spot. Like, yeah, you want a guy that's fast, a guy that can run good routes, but the most important question is, and especially with Jay Gruden now, headlining your offense, is, can one of these guys that we just mentioned fit in Jay Gruden's offense? Can Jay Gruden make one of these guys work to his best of abilities? And I would argue probably, yeah. Because if you look what Jay Gruden does, his ability to spread the ball around, his ability to throw different kind of formations and sets at you, you always keep defenses guessing. And if there's a guy in this draft, Brent, who can, kind of keep the defense on their toes, whether it's with his speed, whether it's with his route running ability, or whether it's with his red zone presence, because keep in mind, if you don't have that bona fide tight end, then you have to go to the receiver. I'm just saying I wouldn't throw out of the realms of possibility at a 20 pick to see a wide receiver get taken.
What do you think then? What do you think they need in that regard to be a little different? What don't they have? Again, I'm not sitting here saying DJ Chark is the bona fide number one guy. He's going to have to show us a little bit more than that. But he's obviously got talent. Mm-hmm. You don't just do that by mistake. Heck, he caught everything at one time. D.D. Westbrook is different, right? I mean, he's not your prototypical 6'3" guy. I mean, he's not that.
Yeah.
Chris Conley, Conley is some of that. I mean, I know he hasn't established himself athlete, as like a one receiver or even a two, but freaky athlete.
Has the combine record in the vertical. Did you know that?
Yeah, well, when we talked to, yes.
Yeah, crazy.
But not only that, man, but he's known for his speed, but last year, how about his power? Mm-hmm. How about breaking tackles? I thought he was impressive in that. But he's their third guy. But so what are they missing is my point. What are they lacking in say, a one or two kind of receiver? Someone to couple with DJ Chark that would be something that if you were an offensive coordinator, you could play with.
Yeah.
I don't want to label a receiver a toy, but, it's like you're playing a video game.
Yeah.
So how do you create mismatches?
Yep.
And what would you get? I mean, heck, the Claypool kid from Notre Dame is fascinating. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can line him up in three different spots.
Big dude.
4 different. You can play tight end for you.
Put him at tight end. Yeah.
So, in this day and age, but did you already get that guy with Josh Oliver since he's kind of your receiving tight end?
Yeah.
So what are we looking for? Because then that could narrow down. Is it Judy or do you just need a burner?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because, see, you want to say you want to see a deep threat, right? But then I can make the argument, well, DJ Chark and even D.D. Westbrook, a lot of their yardage came from the deep ball.
I think Keelan Cole averages like 18 yards a catch at times in his career.
Exactly. So,
again, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, everything's on Keelan Cole. I get it, but...
So if I'm breaking down the Jaguars receivers right now, I think their strength could also be considered maybe their, I guess, weakness in a way, where the Jaguars receiving core right now, I said this the same thing going into last season, they're a lot of the same guy, which can help you, but can also hurt you. They're a lot of the same guy when I say, well, sizing purposes, they're pretty much the same height, right? Strength, I mean, yeah, Chris Conley is kind of a stronger guy, but I think legitimately they're all kind of the same kind of strength guy. And they're a lot of the same style of receiver. Like, they can all run the route tree and everything. Like, they're not going to specialize in the go route. Like, they can do everything, okay? So if we say that and we see, like, yeah, they have a bunch of guys that are about 6'1", well, then what's the outlier? What's in that puts you over the top? And to me, that's the prototypical one receiver, and that's T. Higgins, in my opinion. A 6'4" guy who can go up and get the football, right? And especially in the red zone where you struggled last year, especially in the red zone where you would take out Chris Conley for whatever reason, has the highest vertical of all time, John DeFilippo. Not sure why he took him out. It is what it is. You put Keelan Cole in.
That's bizarre.
To me, T. Higgins is in a spot down there where it's like, all right, jump ball, jump ball, jump ball. Because, like, when's the last time you saw the Jaguars just throw jump ball after jump ball in the red zone, Brent? Allen Robinson, I guess?
Allen Robinson would be the guy.
And it worked out pretty well for him.
They tried to throw fades with Bortles at times. It
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
work out.
Yeah.
Let's stay on. I like the conversation, man. I want to find the receiver that would be worth picking in round one for the Jaguars. Plus, it will get us into the defensive line a little bit next on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
Seriously, my dealership just fixed the transmission.
We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for transmission repair. Made up of over 800 pieces, the transmission is the most complex part of your car. So bring it to the transmission experts at AMCO.
And those experts are also your best choice for any repairs. See lots of 4- and 5-star reviews to prove it at AMCOJacksonville.com.
AMCO, always the right fix. AA MCO.
Shop now and save on these items and many more during the March into Spring sale at your neighborhood Ace. Proven winners, gorgeous Blew My Mind perennial flowers, just $4.99 in the 1-gallon size. Get Fertilome 1648 premium lawn food from Ace for $19.99 in the 40-pound bag. Wet and Forget mold and mildew cleaner in various sizes and applications on sale now from $15.99. Find more great deals and the location nearest you at acehardware.com. Sale ends March 30th.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Angel Kids Pediatrics, Tidbits Restaurant and Catering, Turnkey Roofing, B&G Plumbing, Heating and AC, Bullseye Guns, Breakthrough Healthcare. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
For the ones who forge metal and those with nerves of steel. For the ones who burn the midnight oil and the ones who rise with the sun. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, with over 250 local branches and a team of specialists available 24/7 to help you solve any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
To those who love the grind, run with us on a John Deere Gator UV. Whether you're searching for the perfect parking spot, conducting a few performance reviews, or just killing some time by the water cooler. There's no second in command like a Gator UV. It's got a hefty payload capacity, a smooth riding suspension, and the power to tow more than a few office supplies. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best 4G LTE networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I would not be for 7-inning games. First of all, I'm not for a bunch of double headers either. Just for a lot of different reasons. But every single team is set up and has advantages and disadvantages based on their bullpen. you have a 7-inning game, even if it's only once a week you're playing 2 7-inning games, there are going to be certain teams that have a huge advantage, and there are going to be certain teams that are at a disadvantage based on their roster construction. And I just don't think baseball wants to go down the road of setting a precedent that 7-inning games are okay.
Oh, no, but we can go down the road of electronic umpires and strike zones.
Do it.
Come on, Mark Teixeira.
7-inning games. Let's go and see how the Brewers do. The Brewers might go undefeated. Just to let you know.
Listen,
the Brewers were made for 7-inning games.
We had this discussion last year, right? When everybody was starting to change around, like, hey, you can only pitch to 3 batters, which now is like, oh, you have to pitch to 3 batters, which is a rule now.
Yeah.
You know, the timing issues, the how do we change the game, the this, the that. And I told you, and I'm a baseball traditionalist. I don't like replay. I don't like anybody messing with my game. And if I'm telling you, if you give me electronic strike zones, I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, but it might turn me away from the game. Seriously, it's the first thing I've said that. Be like, I might
Brent's
not
gonna be a hockey fan.
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe that's how bad it could get. But I suggested this last year sometime when we were talking about all the changes in Major League Baseball. And I think you could actually remedy a lot of the situations, a lot of the things you're trying to improve by going to 7-inning games all the time. Mm. And I really don't think it would be that big of an adjustment for the fan. The biggest complaint about baseball is it takes too long. Well, take a couple innings away. It takes less time. You're talking about maybe 45 minutes to an hour less, depending on the flow of a game. And I just think it would be a solution. Again, I don't mind the 9-inning games. I'm talking about if you are trying to open it up to this new generation and the younger player and pull in casual fans, hey, if you got to go to 7-inning games, go 7-inning games. Now, I'm taking it totally out of context. That's not what Mark Teixeira was talking about. He's talking about doubleheaders if they have to shrink the season, then go to 7-inning games. That's what minor league baseball does. Mm-hmm. They go to 7-inning games. So Teixeira is wrong here, too. If you're trying to squeeze games in, then 7-inning games are probably the right way to go. 2 9-inning games, health reasons, logistical reasons, fan reasons. People don't want to watch 2 9-inning games. They just don't. Diehards do. Yeah, I'm not talking to you. I'm you. Okay, I'm the diehard. I get it. But you have to admit this, that people don't want to do this. So 2 7-inning games, so what? If it favors a team, it favors a team. There are a bunch of things that favor teams. And usually the better teams are going to win regardless. Yeah. So I think they would go to that, and I'd be okay by adopting the minor league rules of going to 7-inning games if that's the case. I disagree with the sheriff. And I hope they do some doubleheaders. I'd like to play as many games as possible. I think owners want that because of the gates. I think players want that because of statistics. You know, who is going to have, if you only play 90 games, say 100, 100's easy. If you play 100 games, which means maybe the average guy misses 5 games because of rest or whatever, and plays 95 of them. Mm-hmm. Well, your number of hits, your number of home runs, your number of RBIs, all those, what are we doing? Prorating them? Is that how you get your next contract? I don't think anybody's coming out of this next season and saying, boom, you're now getting $500 million. I mean, even Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Does he get hurt by a year like this because his numbers aren't going to look so gaudy as some other people's numbers have?
I just think with inflation every single year, Brent, I just feel like there's going to be, and especially we're talking about analytics of baseball. Is there any more sport that uses analytics and crunches numbers more than baseball?
No.
I think they can crunch the numbers and be like, all right, well, this is what he did in 90 games. These are the projections of what would it be 160 something games. So. Yeah. They'd probably pay him off that.
Yeah. Interesting. It's going to be, I think Major League Baseball in this case is the most fascinating of all sports. I can find simple solutions for the other ones so far. Mm-hmm. Major League Baseball, I'm not sure it's so simple. And Mark Teixeira talking about games and doubleheaders in the middle of the week. All right, let's get back to football. I need to find a receiver. I've got a different twist on this for just as we continue to try to find the guy. Because, again, my opinion is I don't see him picking one in the first round. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, Mel Kiper has 7 of them going in the first round. Mm-hmm. And I still don't think the Jags are getting one of them. If you could take a receiver right now in the game, reasonably, for the Jags, that would add and make you so dynamic.
In the NFL or in the draft?
In the NFL.
Okay.
So I'm talking because I want to give people a reference point. Heck, I want to give myself a reference point. We can rattle off the great receivers, right? I mean, heck, people think Stephon Diggs is one of them. Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill.
Adams from the Packers, Devontae Adams.
And then you've got your A.J. Greens and your Julio Jones. And let's go along the – I'm not talking about this stage of their career. I'm talking about guys that are healthy, guys that like A.J. Green. Let's assume he's healthy.
Okay.
Amari Cooper, obviously.
Julio Jones in his prime then we're going, or right now?
Yeah, Julio Jones is prime.
Okay.
Fine. You could go Larry Fitzgerald, but I'm thinking more like DeAndre Hopkins right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to do is grab a style of receiver. You've got Tyreek Hill, the burner. You've got DeAndre Hopkins. The mitts don't lie. I mean, he catches everything.
Yep.
And he's a tough guard, right? I mean, he is tough to defend.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the alpha dog that I think in the NFL, I put A.J. Green in the conversation, but I feel like it's Julio Jones. Mm-hmm. You just don't make guys like that. Atlanta was not wrong necessarily to go trade what they traded to get him. He's delivered.
It was a lot.
That's a lot, and he's delivered. Michael Thomas, route runner that is so crisp, right? Mm-hmm. And just a catching machine, 125 catches a season. So if I give you those are different styles. You would agree?
Correct.
Right? Hopkins, Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones. I know they all make the Jags better if you had one of them.
Yeah.
But if you only had one to pick, who are you trying to get that makes the Jags way better and way more dynamic with what they already have?
With what I know of Jay Gruden as well?
Yeah.
Throw him in the mix?
Yeah.
Listen, I think Hopkins would be the sensible pick, right? Because you can put Hopkins in the slot, you can put him on the outside, you can do a lot of different things with him. But once again, if you break down the Jaguars right now and the wide receiving core, they have guys that can do that. They have guys that can play the slot. They have guys that can go on the outside. So for me, once again, I'm going to the big body, Brent. I'm going to the guy that I can line up outside. I can say, go get it and make a game-changing play. So with that being said, either it's going to be A.J. Green or Julio Jones.
A.J. Green, Julio Jones. Okay. So you're
once
going
again,
with that alpha dog guy. Yeah.
I'm going prototypical one receiver. I don't even go in the slot a lot. I just need him on the outside against the best corner and say, go up and go get it.
Okay, so then who do you think?
Or
what I was trying
Michael Thomas. You make an argument because Michael Thomas plays a lot outside too. But Michael Thomas, like when I think of Michael Thomas in the red zone, I think of like those 2-yard hitches more than I do like him going up to get a ball. I mean,
well, that's a great.
They're all crossed.
It's a great thought right there, right? Don't you feel like a DJ Chark in more so maybe even a D.D. Westbrook? I'm not saying they are the hit, but that style kind of fits them.
Yeah,
where they can run these. They find open space and make catches.
Exactly.
Right. I mean,
you're absolutely right. And that's what Michael Thomas does very well.
So that's why we got some of that.
Sure.
We feel like we don't have it at that level, but we got
not
some
even
of
close.
That.
But yeah.
I would think the two glaring things that you don't have is what you said, that alpha dog Julio Jones or just a flat out burn you. Mm-hmm. And it's not a lot of teams have Tyreek Hill. That's why people are in love with Henry Ruggs right now, because they've seen what's gone on in Kansas City and they're like, well, you can't catch up to him. Mm-hmm. I think it's a little dangerous just to fall in love with speed. Because honestly, I understand Tyreek Hill makes them work and helps them go. But I don't know if I'd put him in top 5 receivers that I'd want. Just because he's that fast. I understand he makes them go and he'd add to your team, but he's not, to me, top 5 receiver in the game.
Yeah. I mean, we can definitely get a Ouija board right now, and Al Davis would say, what's up, man? Because speed doesn't always work out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It doesn't always work out. And we remember Tyreek Hill coming out of college. I mean, he wasn't that big of a get, right? Like, teams weren't clamoring to get Tyreek Hill. So I definitely agree with you where speed isn't everything. Now, sometimes, speed can help you out a lot. And obviously with Ruggs right now coming from Alabama, and keep in mind, to me, Ruggs is kind of like that guy like Hopkins was at Clemson, where Hopkins played in a wide receiver room full of talent, and he kind of went unnoticed a little bit. That's why he wasn't a first-round pick. Ruggs is kind of the same thing possibly, where, yes, Ruggs will be a first-round pick, but how capable is Ruggs just because they were so deep at wide receiver, so talented, where we possibly didn't get to see his full skill set just because he wasn't always getting the ball.
All right, I'm going to take the top 10 guys that most people would have on their board. And I'm going to say, okay, if you want Julio Jones, he's a 6'3" guy, 220 pounds. That's an alpha dog at wide receiver. A lot of receivers are made 6'2", 195, 6'2", 200, even 6'3", 200. But 220, 6'3",
yeah,
and you can run like you can run. Well, to me, if you want that guy, The closest thing to him is T. Higgins.
Correct.
6'4", 216 is what I've got him listed as. And probably can even man up a little bit more and put some beef on his body, right?
Sure. Yep, absolutely.
I would say next on that list, again, I'm going off measurements, Denzel Mims from Baylor, who I haven't seen a ton of, but he's like 6'3", 210.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So then you get down to like Brian Edwards from South Carolina. So that takes away, I think, who many believe are the top guys, top flight guys in this draft. That's what it narrows down to. If you want the Julio Jones kind of guy, well, you're talking about Higgins or even a Mims. Now, Mel Kiper thinks, and a lot of people think, they're going at the back end, the second half of the first round.
Yeah.
So that would be around the 20th pick for the Jags if they get fortunate enough, or maybe would have to wheel and deal a little bit to pick up one of those guys. If you're thinking that way.
You know what's funny, too, about T. Higgins? I've been looking him up the past couple of days. So I brought up A.J. Green's breakdown of him getting drafted, like, his pros and weaknesses and things like that. And then I also broke down T. Higgins' strengths and weaknesses. And it is insane just how comparable these two gentlemen really are. A.J. Green, 6'4", T. Higgins, 6'4". A.J. Green, arm length, 34 3/8. T.J. Higgins, 34 1/8. Now, strengths. A.J. Green possesses prototypical height and wide receiver catch radius, has very good speed, a very true vertical big play threat, explodes off the line, eats up cushions immediately. T. Higgins plays long with his frame, explodes out of receiver stance, played all three receiver spots, can be used in great mismatches, long strides. He's a ground gainer, speed, turns, and posts, whatever that means, rare instincts once the ball goes up. Now, the weaknesses, and this is where it stands out to me. The only weakness of A.J. Green coming out of Georgia was the fact that he can be harassed at the line of scrimmage by press man corners. Bigger defensive backs will give A.J. Green problems coming out as a rookie. Let's go to T. Higgins. Beat up by lesser competition at the quarterback. At the cornerback position in press coverage. Needs to improve on route tree and also lacks physicality at the top of the route. So pretty comparable people.
To A.J. Green.
To A.J. Green. Yep. So this is back and forth. And obviously.
That's good. That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
When you lead, so the NFL analyst, his name is Lance Zierlein. He does a lot of the NFL combine stuff. His NFL comparison, A.J. Green.
Wow. That excites me now.
Yeah.
A lot of that comparison. What's interesting to me is one of the weaknesses would be lacks strength at the top of his route. He's 6'4", 220. Lacking strength shouldn't be a thing, you wouldn't believe. But
yeah.
It's an interesting that both had, right?
Yeah.
Or both were similar in that sense.
And listen, when we start breaking down Kinlaw and Derek Brown, hopefully today too, because I went through those two guys, and it's some of these terms that they use, it's kind of funny to me. But yeah, I'm not really sure what lacks the strength out of the top of the route really means, Brent. I couldn't tell you that. I didn't play receiver, so maybe somebody else can fill me in, but I think he's big enough to have strength. I don't know.
I got this in from the Jags a little bit ago, and I actually forgot to check, so sorry. We're deeply involved with the wide receiver conversation. This is unusual. News that just came in.
All right.
Darqueze Dennard will not be signing with the Jags. The two sides could not come to an agreement on the final contract terms. He remains an unrestricted free agent. So, of course, all these were reports at the time, right? In agreed to terms and those kind of things. Yeah. And I think Darqueze Dennard was an agreed to terms guy.
Yeah.
Well, it falls through. They could not finalize the deal. Very rare that something like that happens, I think. Or maybe it happens more often. We just don't hear about it. But with all the reports that go on now, especially during free agency, remember, this was a Tuesday report, so it was like less than 24 hours in. But even the Jags, I think, I have to go back and look, but I thought the Jags even acknowledged, like even Doug Marrone, maybe with Jaguars.com, was talking about him and where he would play.
Yeah.
We had even heard, I think I read somewhere it was like a 3-year, $13 million deal. They must not have been able to cross the T's and dot the I's.
Yeah.
But that's not happening now. Did he get a little skittish and say, wait a minute now, because of Rashaan Melvin signing? Jags got another depth play with Melvin. Yeah. And many people believe the Jags will get a corner in the draft anyway. So now maybe they added a little too much competition for someone like Darqueze Dennard's liking. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
You're speculating. And also you could speculate as well where coming into Jacksonville, maybe he was told that he'd be playing a lot more slot because like I said in my breakdown, that I spent, tens of minutes spending my time. By the way, Dave Caldwell, be sure to give me a paycheck because I want to be reimbursed for my time spent outside of work. But anyway, so when you talk about Denard, I mean, I said that he was a really good slot corner. And when you think about it, their strength right now in the secondary is the slot corner position. So I wonder if he kind of came in and is like, oh, I don't want to play on the outside. Like, that's not really what I specialize in. And I want to play the slot corner. And maybe they gotten, a little disagreement with that as well. So
you would have thought they would know that beforehand, man. I mean,
I don't know, man. It's
he's
weird.
played the outside before.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you can get paid more on the outside. Well, everybody wants to play the outside. Not everybody, but most people want to play the outside.
But to be fair, though, I guess, man, but these days with the slot, the slot corner, you can take a lot of pride in it because, like, you have guys like Jarvis Landry. You have guys like Tyreek Hill. Even DeAndre Hopkins goes down to the slot a little bit. So, like, it's still a position that you can take some pride in. And what I'm, I guess, a little bummed about is the fact that now you're missing out on that guy. Because what was another strength that I said during that breakdown? Once again, Dave Caldwell, I want to be reimbursed for my breakdown of Denard. But he said that I said he was good in the run game. This was a physical type of corner that didn't shy away from contact. And I feel like, number one, if you play in the game and you have that ability, that helps you out, obviously, in the game, being a physical type of corner. But number two, that rubs off on other corners, and that rubs off on the defense. And now you're missing out on that guy. So it is kind of a little alarming to hear there's not going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar.
That's pretty
anymore.
wild. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Let's go to the phone. Saqib calling in and checking in. Hey, Saqib, hope you're doing well, man. You and the family and everybody staying safe and as well as you can in this time. Let's talk a little Jags. What's up?
Hey. Like I was saying earlier, man, I went to Sam's Club today, and I told my mom and my daughter they got 15 minutes. Y'all better go and get what you're
Supermarket
Get out. Yeah, man, I ain't playing with y'all, man.
That was a good show.
Hey, listen, guys. This is kind of weird to me that the Jaguars did announce it, that he signed, and now he hasn't signed. Do you think that they can just still work it out somehow, pay him a little more, or figure this out? Because this is kind of weird. I've never heard this as a fan of NFL for a long time. This kind of stuff happens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's kind of weird to me.
I hear you. I don't know of too many instances. I'm not saying it hasn't happened here in Jacksonville. I don't remember it, but I also don't pay as close attention to the other teams. Maybe this has happened before. I think this is a little bit the climate we live in now, where all these reports come out from the agents, and the agents kind of give the word early on. You're right. There were comments from Doug Marrone about Denard and from the Jags. So that even makes this a little peculiar. My only guess here is they got a little unhappy. I mean, you could say they couldn't come with terms. Maybe it was dollars. But I also wonder if they got a little unhappy with the Melvin signing. Because if the way I handicap their secondary, you obviously have DJ Hayden. I think Trey Herndon is the starting corner on opening day on one of those sides. I think he earned that last year, and I think they believe he will be. Well, then what you could have are three bodies at the very least for that other corner spot. It could have been Denard. It could have been Melvin, who played some games for Detroit and is a veteran as well. And it could be a young guy who they could draft, whether it's Okudah or somebody else. So I don't know, man. I think the situation perhaps changed is going to be my guess. I'll have to dig into it a little bit more to find out exactly what went on. But at least the word for now is more from a contractual standpoint, which means they couldn't come to grips on the actual dollars of what they wanted. But I feel, again, I'll say it again, I think even that was reported at one time what the deal was.
Well, exactly. So this is my point, Brent. What's more logical? The fact that the contract wasn't properly negotiated right and all of a sudden there were some zeros that didn't get dotted, or is the fact that there was a discrepancy in terms of the scheme that, Denard was going to be playing? I think it's more of the scheme.
Well, listen, if it's the scheme...
How do you mess up a contract?
Well,
like, you see the number and it's like, okay, I'll sign, and then you announce it. How does that get messed up?
First of all, I don't think anything's changed in terms of I would doubt anything has changed in terms of communication of scheme and all that stuff in the last week. So I'm talking Denard. If Denard doesn't know what he's about to go play in, well, then he didn't do enough homework.
But maybe they tell him one thing, and maybe they. I don't know. I just think that the guy played slot corner a lot in Cincinnati. That was his specialty. Doug Marrone comes out and says that he's going to be trying to compete for a starting spot on the outside. I'm just saying there's a possibility that could rub him the wrong way.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
It could. I mean, we'll have to see if there's anything else that comes of it and who he signs with, and maybe he even answers it. It could be on a lot of levels. It could be, hey, once I saw them sign Melvin, I don't really want to be there anyway because now we've got too many guys back there fighting for playing time, and I really want a legit chance to start. Maybe it was something that he heard from the scheme set of, hey, I'm not going to play in that slot. DJ Hayden's the man. I'm going to compete on the outside. And maybe he didn't feel that was the initial case. Or maybe it was simply kind of what they at least have described so far to us is they couldn't come to agreement on some of the contract terms. I don't know what that means, whether that's staying in a certain hotel in training camp or
don't get it twisted. If you're in training camp mode, Jacksonville's a spot to be because you actually stay in a hotel, all right? You're not staying in the dorms like you are in Chicago and Kansas City. So, no, from that standpoint, you're okay. I don't know, Brent. Like, I honestly, I don't know how big of a deal this really is. I mean, it's not good optics, but
I don't think it's a big. I'm not sitting here and be like, oh my gosh, we're not going to have Darqueze Dennard around.
Yeah.
I thought it was a weird day 2 signing, like a Tuesday signing. I thought it would be more of like a Monday signing.
Yeah.
Like this Monday, not last Monday.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not. Darqueze Dennard wasn't going to make the Jags 1 win better or 3 wins better.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But it is odd. I mean, to me, it's more the odd story, the odd nature of it than it is who it is.
Sure.
It's not like it's Schobert or Eifert. Mm-hmm. Schobert or Eifert can make a huge difference.
If it's Schobert, hey, people are taking to the streets, and there needs to be some rioting, I think, Yeah, I mean,
did you ever have any kind of contractual problems, or are they pretty stand pat?
No, I mean, everything was, listen, like once the contract comes over, you sign it and you're good to go. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Obviously, I said him coming here didn't make much sense to me either, just because he's a slot corner. That's a specialty, and it appears that Hayden has that spot wrapped up. I don't know why he would go out of his comfort zone and want to play an outside corner, because if you look at slot corners, they make pretty much the same amount of money as the outside corners now, especially the mid-level guys. So it didn't make sense to me from the get-go. He signed supposedly, or he was going to come here. Cool. I like the fact that he was physical in the run game. I think he can bring some leadership to the secondary, and now he's gone. So I don't know what to make of it, man. Obviously, the optics probably aren't the best for the Jaguars, the situation, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah, it's listen, we'll let you know if we find out more. We're guessing just like you. It's a kind of a bizarre. Note this. It's bizarre. Like, that's unusual. This does not happen a lot.
And you know what, Brent, to be fair, the last thing the Jaguars want right now in terms of people talking and the headlines is the word bizarre. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's just get through this free agency on a positive note. Let's go to the draft. Let's draft well on a positive note, and let's have some intrigue, and let's have some optimism for the 2020 season. Please.
Hey, here's the deal. I said free agency I thought would be over for the Jags. Well, maybe it's not now. And guess who's still out there at the quarter position?
Who you got?
Xavier Rhodes.
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
You can get me way more excited in March by signing Xavier Rhodes than you can Darqueze Dennard.
No, it's probably going to cost you a little more. All right.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to cost you as little as Dennard was going to cost you.
No, probably not.
But I still can't believe that guy's out there.
Do you think there's something up, honestly? Like, whether it's like a locker room thing, like a culture. I mean,
I tried to dig around on that a little bit and couldn't find anything. So now that doesn't mean there's not. I'm not talking. This wasn't like this deep dive.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit of a dive, just to kind of be like, well, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it, and I don't get this one. I understand he's coming off a bad year. And if you look at people coming off bad years or not as good years, they're struggling right now. Clowney coming off a 3-sack year.
Yeah.
He's not signed.
Yeah.
Xavier Rhodes coming off a bad year, like a bad year, not signed. So there's some, I guess, consistency with some of that. And they're probably asking for more than teams are willing to give them at the moment. But I still think it's bizarre that this guy has lasted 11 days into free agency. I know it's not really, it's like 8 days into the official league year, but 11 days after legal tampering started.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't have a home. I think that's wild.
It's probably a contract thing then, right? You'd
I think
assume?
it's probably dollars, the value, much like Clowney, right? It's value versus what teams are willing to give you at the moment. When we come back, we kind of slide back into that first round, second round, third round of the draft for the Jags and where they go. We spent a lot of time on the wide receiver. It was a fun conversation. I think it's fascinating, the receiver. And the one thing we didn't mention, and we won't get on this today because we'll save it for another day, is the offensive line. That's a way to help the offense, too.
Yeah.
And there are possibilities there at 9 and 20. But how about defensive line? We come back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Let's talk about it.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Becoming partly sunny today. Highs will be in the 80s inland, but only in the 70s at the beaches, dropping into the lower 60s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Tillman Auto, SVR Realty, Santionis Restaurant, Evolution Signs and Print, Atlantic Coast Appliance, Spence Industrial Supply. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
Jacksonville Truck Center is here to help you get in the truck you deserve. When you need a fleet vehicle, Jacksonville Truck Center has the largest selection of pre-owned commercial vehicles, including cargo vans and work trucks. We're here to make it easy for you. There's commercial or personal financing available, even if you have bad credit. Don't spend your tax return money anywhere else. Visit the new Jacksonville Truck Center on Arlington Expressway next to the Southside Connector or online at jacksonvilletruckcenter.com.
Be bold, Jacksonville, with Bold City Heating and Air. When it's hot, we turn on the AC. When it's colder, we flip on the heat. But are you getting the best value with your system? Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. Insulation is an important part of comfort and efficiency in your home. At Bold City Heating and Air, they offer free consultations and quotes on your insulation. Call 904-379-1648 or check out boldcityac.com. 5-star reviews on Facebook and Google. Be bold, Jacksonville, with Bold City Heating and Air.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents, instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not on the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home. Get a virtual consultation. Visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com. Or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663.
All offers are with approved credit and not in conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Jeep Celebration event.
Where do you go when you need a new car, truck, or SUV? You go to the dealer who can get you the best price on the best selection of vehicles you actually want to drive. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington. Drive a new Jeep Grand Cherokee or Renegade and save up to $5,000 off MSRP. Save up to $6,000 on Compass. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington, 9600 Atlantic Boulevard.
Buy online from the comfort of your home when you shop arlingtontoyota.com. At Arlington, they get it. They know right now things are different. But instead of thinking of things we can't do, Arlington is focused on what we can do, like shopping online from home at arlingtontoyota.com. Getting your ride delivered to your door. Even the parts department will deliver parts to your door. And service? Drop it off and they'll give you a free ride home. I knew I always liked Arlington Toyota. Plus, you can still get savings up to 50% less on the ride you've been wanting. And it's all at arlingtontoyota.com, like a 2020 Toyota Corolla. It's not $17,635. Now it's only $14,991. That's $14,991 for a pre-owned 2020 Toyota Corolla at Arlington. How about a 2019 Toyota RAV4? It's not $24,195. Now it's $19,995 $19,471. Yeah, just $19,471 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota RAV4 at Arlington. For shopping with all the comforts of home, visit arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/50% off for offer details.
For families worried about making ends meet, we are here. For those struggling with depression, we are here. We're also here to protect kids in crisis, assist students, and help our seniors. We're Jewish Family and Community Services, and we've been here offering support to people of every age, race, and religion for more than a century. Jewish Family and Community Services, here for all, here for Jax. Learn more at hereforjax.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. It was a lot of fun playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years, and I'm having just the same amount of fun on the radio every single day with ESPN 690. So I'm reaching out to you to be part of our team and grow your business with ESPN 690. Give us a holler at 245-8732. That's 245-8732. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you join the team.
All offers are with approved credit and not in conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Ram Truck Month.
We're having a sale so big, it's going to shape the way we do all sales. At Jacksonville, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Bay Meadows. Step up to Ram, and for a limited time, get up to $14,000 off MSRP. Every model, every option. Drive a brand new Jeep Cherokee from just $249 a month. Get the one you want and get up to $5,000 off. Jacksonville, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. I-295 and Bay Meadows.
Hello, I'm Chuck Barnes. At Barnes & Cohen, we're pulling out all the stops to protect your health and ours. We have the latest software that enables our staff who are at high risk to work remotely without sacrificing first-class representation. Our offices remain open. We have a sanitized conference room, but maybe your best option, meet us here in our courtyard. Barnes & Cohen will continue to serve you in the safest way possible.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Carrabba's, Sports Clip, Pablo Creek Harbor Place, All Out Paintless Debt Removal, Southern Crossing Antique Mall, Sears Home Services, Willie Jewell's Old Service Barbecue. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
Why, did you know that One-to-One Financial is the only financial institution in Jacksonville with a fleet of live teller machines? That means you can practice social distancing and still do all of your banking, even apply for a loan, using a drive-through LTM at most One-to-One Financial locations. It's like an ATM with FaceTime, so you have the option to connect with a live teller via video feed when you need one. No other credit union or bank offers this in Jacksonville. See what else you're missing at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
You like money. I suggest you get your voice looked at.
It's allergy season.
It seems to be always allergy season, Stugatz.
That's because it is.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
But my body was like, hey man, what the hell is going on? It's March. You getting ready for the playoffs. Why are you shutting down right now? And I was right there turning the corner. Like, I felt like I was rounding third base getting ready for the postseason. You know, it's the rest factor. I think it's a little bit overly blown, especially when you're in full swing of things. Now it's different from the lockout year that we had. See, the lockout year, we had the whole offseason. Plus, we also was playing basketball.
That's Richard Jefferson, you said?
LeBron on Richard Jefferson's podcast.
That was LeBron?
Yeah.
That didn't sound like LeBron to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it was on a phone call, but...
That was LeBron on Richard Jefferson's podcast.
I feel like if Richard Jefferson can get LeBron James, we can get LeBron James. Nothing against Richard Jefferson.
They were teammates, though.
Yeah, okay.
I don't feel that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, it's Richard Jefferson. You know, he's like 60 years old, but okay.
Well,
whatever.
He's got a little bit of an NBA resume.
Yeah,
We can't get LeBron James right now, but we can get John Bachman from down in TV land.
And we'll take that.
We'll take that jump shot.
Ouch.
What's up? Hope you're playing on
Hey,
the Nerf
guys.
hoop.
Yeah, I used to have a Nerf hoop set up in my house.
Used to? You still don't? I mean, every house should still have a Nerf hoop. We've got one upstairs.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have one in my house now. I should get one. The girls don't play a lot. My middle child plays a lot. In fact, we got a regular hoop outside, and she plays every day, so that's good.
Oh, good stuff. There you go. And you can do that right now.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of practice.
Absolutely. But jump shots are falling all over the country.
Yes, that's right.
You're
One of
about
those free throws.
You're about to hit the news here soon. Do we have a news conference coming up? I mean, are we void of news conferences for this 5 minutes or what?
For about 5 minutes. But no, we are expecting President Trump to give us an update sometime at 5. Now, he's been running about usually about 15 minutes to a half hour late. So he said 5. I'm going to guess it's going to be closer to 5:30. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Yeah, classic Brent Martineau style. I like it.
I'm not
Yeah,
kidding.
that's right.
I don't even want to
He
say
runs on the
anything.
Martineau clock.
I don't even want to say anything right now. I'm afraid anytime you mention anything around President Trump, you'll be put in a corner one way or another, and I don't want to be doing that. So how's this all going, man? I know everybody's dealing with it, and we know all that kind of stuff because we're all living that life.
Right.
I will say this, and I think I said this yesterday on the show, but I'll say it to you, and you can elaborate. This has no political context to it whatsoever. I feel like this is more about communication. And I think the communication on a lot of levels, whether it's here in Jacksonville with Mayor Curry, or it is from Washington, which involves the president, but also involves doctors and other people in the know, I think has been really good. Is that fair? I mean, the fact that we're seeing a lot of conversation and updates, and I think that helps people at the moment. If they want it, they can get it. If they don't want it, they can turn it off.
We are getting a lot of updates. Whether it's been good or not is kind of probably dependent on your situation and your perspective.
Okay.
I will say we are getting a lot of updates. And what's that?
Political one or what?
No, not necessarily politically. I just mean if you are directly impacted and you're struggling, then it's then the communication is kind of a moot point.
Yeah.
But I do think that there has been a lot of communication. But now, politically, there are a lot of different takes on how different places should be reacting to this, right? There have been some politicians have called for the governor to shut down Florida, much like about more than a dozen other states have done. Mm-hmm. The governor has been reluctant to do that because he doesn't want to take a broad approach when we only have certain segments that are really getting hit hard at this point in time. And then the other thing I'll say is that we still have a lot yet unknown, Brent. I mean, it does look, especially, locally, it doesn't look awful yet, and we hope that it won't. But we still are only testing, a small percentage of people. The test numbers are going up every day. I've been keeping an eye on how many people have. We don't know how many people are seriously ill in those numbers. All we can know is the deaths. That's the only way. It's either deaths or positive cases. There's no in between. But I can tell you what the leaders are looking for are the serious cases, the cases that put you in the hospital. Because the big concern here is whether the hospitals can handle what could be an overwhelming situation. So far, it's not. Right now, the mayor at 2 o'clock said that we're at 65% capacity for the local hospitals, which is pretty good.
Is that what's normal? Do you know?
I don't know, but I did talk. This is what I do know. The head of UF Health and I talked yesterday via video conference call, and he said they're actually at or slightly below normal right now for most hospital visits because if you're on the fence for something, most people don't want to go to a hospital right now for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. So that was yesterday. I don't know if that's still the case, but I would say just by that conversation, I'd say we're close to normal at this point in time. That's an uneducated guess based on a couple of conversations.
John, you're starting to see that, some major cities where their hospitals are starting to be at max capacity. I guess my question would be, as more Jacksonville residents get tested and everything, and let's assume those numbers go up a little bit, is there like a backup plan in place in case the hospitals in Jacksonville do get to capacity?
Yes. So first of all, again, we're not at capacity right now, and more positive test cases does not necessarily mean more hospital visits, right? Because, again, you can test positive and not be needing hospital care. In fact, a lot of people will test positive who don't need hospital care. But to answer your question, the hospitals themselves have backup plans, right? They have capacity, and then they have kind of extenuating circumstances capacity, right? They have overfill areas where they can, care for people in the crunch time. And then the city itself is building up a field hospital. They said yesterday or the day before that it would take them about 4 days to build it up. It's in the Prime Osborne Convention Center, and they're going to be able to have, I think, a capacity of 200 or 250 beds. I think it's 250. And so they're building that up just in case. As I mentioned, it takes a few days to get it ready, and they don't want to be caught not ready. So they're doing it now to be ready. But right now, it's not needed.
Last one for you, John. John Bachman, CBS 47, Fox 30. Check them out in 15 minutes or so. The Action News Jacks team has been doing a fantastic job covering one of the wildest times in our lifetime and anybody's lifetime, quite frankly. You can always watch on CBS 47, Fox 30, and on all the platforms of Action News Jacks. All the numbers. I had this question today, and this kind of, I don't know if it's inside the business or not, because I think so many people are watching local news right now, and watching our stations and listening to this kind of information. And so are we getting to a point, this is more personal question here, are we getting to a point where the numbers are kind of like all running together? Or are people locked in on the numbers like it's a political race, like we're keeping score? Do you get a feel for that?
Are you talking about people on Twitter, or are you talking about people in general public?
I'm talking people in general. I'm talking people in general. We show how many tests have been done, how many positive, the recovery stuff. Like, we're seeing all those numbers. But are people locked in on those numbers? Do you get the feel, or will it take like a drastic tick up to get everybody's attention on those numbers again? You know what I mean?
That is a great question. I don't know that I can give you an honest answer, because all I have to go on is Twitter reactions, which, as you all know, not the total representative of.
Are you saying
it's a jungle out there, John? It's a jungle, man.
So people who are watching this closely and who are engaged in social media on this are definitely watching the numbers and have their own opinions on that.
Okay.
Whether your neighbor and the guys and girls, playing ball outside in the driveway, waiting for, all this stuff to pass, are paying attention, I don't know. But I will tell you that, again, the folks who are kind of trying to lead this charge against the coronavirus, their biggest thing isn't so much the positive or the negative cases. And that's the other thing, by the way. I posted this today. I'm watching both the positive and negative cases. Mm-hmm. Positive cases right now, 2,355, according to the Florida Department of Health. Negative cases, 23,741. Right? That's important to me because, in my opinion, that shows that there are people out there who have symptoms worthy of going to get tested, but then are testing negative for coronavirus.
Yeah.
But again, you could make the point that none of them really matter. The only ones that really matter are the ER visits and the people needing ventilators because of this disease. Because, number one, those are the worst cases and the people who are in extreme danger. But then it's also the folks who are overwhelming or potentially overwhelming the healthcare system, which then impacts all of us, because now other people are going to suffer who don't have the coronavirus because they can't get care that they need because the hospitals are overwhelmed by these folks. And that's what everybody has been fighting from day one.
Yeah.
And that's what I think most people need to understand, is that it's not necessarily that you will get a bad case of coronavirus, but if enough people do, it could impact you if you have something else that needs care and you can't get it.
Yeah, very well said. Thanks for the update on that. We'll let you go. Do you miss sports? And more importantly, do you miss me? I mean, I haven't seen you in a while.
I miss Austin and I miss sports. Oh, and I miss you too, Brent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. That means a lot to me. Hey, I came before sports, by the way.
You did.
I'm a first-round draft pick in John's eyes, and I like that.
True.
Hey,
Vikings
amen, brother.
Yeah.
No, but I really do, and I think I think all the sports have done what they needed to do, but I will be ready when they come back. And what do you guys think? Is it going to be like just a mass watch of the first sporting event, whatever that is? I mean, are the numbers just going to be through the roof?
Yeah, it'll be like and I wasn't around for this, but it'll be like the day we went from black and white television to color.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. Don't lie, say you were around. You were around for that, Brent. You know exactly what happened. You were right there. You were in high school when that happened.
I think it will be something like that. All right, John, take it easy. Keeping everybody informed. We appreciate you, man.
Well, hey, you guys have been doing a great job. I've been checking in every now and again, and I love that we've had other things to talk about to keep us diverted a little bit. So keep it up, and I'll try to check in with you again tomorrow or as soon as I can.
All right, man.
Sounds
Thanks.
good, man.
Check out John Bachman, Tanika Hughes, Mike Burrish as well. We'll have the weather, and we'll have the sports covered on Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30 tonight at 5 o'clock. So it's coming up in about 10 minutes. The latest and probably a news conference from President Trump during that stretch as well. And then later tonight, 10 o'clock until 11:30 as we continue to keep you posted on. I don't like when people say it's an event, but it's an historic time, event. It sounds like it puts it in too good of a light. It's an historic time.
It's funny that John mentioned that people are like going to the hospital now, unless you have something serious, obviously, because that actually happened to me on Tuesday, where I was doing the dishes. I go to the dishwasher, and for whatever reason, I have the habit of trying to make as less trips as possible from the dishwasher to like the cupboards and everything. So I had a handful of knives and dishes and stuff, and dropped the giant like serrated knife right on my toe. And like immediately when I felt it, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a bad one. Like how like the pain kind of delays a little bit too.
Yeah.
So like I looked down, I'm like, okay, it's not bleeding, and all of a sudden blood everywhere. So like Cody comes running, she's like, we have to go to the hospital, like we have to get stitches on it. And I'm like, I don't want to go. I still want to go to the hospital. I mean, and like I don't want to sound selfish, but like I just don't want to take up a spot to someone that needs it. Like, yeah, I'm bleeding. We'll super glue it. It'll be all right. Well, we didn't have super glue at our house, unfortunately, and this is right around probably 1:30. Nap time's at 2 o'clock. So my wife's like, well, you need to go get some super glue. I'm like, I'll get it later. Go take a nap. So I go wrap up my foot, go take a nap. Forget to get the super glue on the way to the show. Sit here, and you didn't even know this was going on, by the way.
I didn't.
Sit here on Tuesday, blood seeping through my sock. Go home, get the super glue. Now we're all good now. But yeah, man, it was never even a thought to go to the hospital. Like it's just, it's not in the hierarchy of things to do right now.
That was very selfless of you.
You're
like
welcome,
that.
man.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I think people appreciate that. I think the doctors in town appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go.
That in your smelly feet they didn't have to deal with.
Well, and truth be told, after getting stitches in my eye, dude, and getting like the shot, I don't want to get that again. So I'd rather super glue everything that I cut now.
Did you get the stitches in the eye out yet?
Oh yeah, they're out.
Yeah. So
by the way, don't take them out with a fingernail clipper. Spoiler alert.
Oh, you took them out yourself?
My wife did with a fingernail clipper because we didn't have a little scissors thing.
Not good.
It was cut. Yeah.
What's going on in the Lane household?
Dude,
we're
pretty hardcore, man. Getting ready for the apocalypse, dude.
How do you guys take teeth out?
Let's go.
I mean, jeez.
Let's go.
You're super gluing your toe.
My toe right here. Yeah.
How does the super glue work? Like I've heard that before, and people do it, but is it pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, I have zero complaints right now. It opened up a little bit because I was training last night, so it opened up a little bit, but nothing too major. We're doing good.
Is somebody going to call in and be like, yeah, that is like the most unhealthy thing you can do?
I have a feeling we're going to get a call.
No, hey, actually, in truth, okay. I went on Google, typed in, can you super glue a cut? And you'd be surprised at how many people said that you could.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So you did it.
Was this the same people on Twitter that we were talking about earlier saying we could do that?
Yeah, it was actually Austin Lane 1 told me to do it.
By the way, Austin Lane 1 responded yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah, what did he say, though? I didn't see what he... it's probably some BS.
No, I mean,
talking out of his neck.
I don't understand how you
talking
don't
out
like
the
this
side
guy.
of his neck.
I mean, you've never met the guy.
He's an imposter, Brent.
I feel like we should have him on the show.
He's an imposter. Have you ever seen the movie Parasite yet?
No.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
I watched The Bankers last night.
What is that? The Bankers?
The Bankers. It was on Apple TV Plus.
So it's just like a bunch of banking stuff?
Oh, no. I think it's based on a true story. It is based on a true story.
Okay.
About the banking industry back in like the 50s and 60s, and 2 African-American bankers who obviously weren't allowed to get into that side of the business, but kind of became big players in the business. It was really well done.
Okay.
I liked it.
So, I mean, I'm not sold. I mean, I get the...
I mean, I liked it.
Okay, cool.
I like those... I mean, it was a little bit of a piece of history at the same time. So you're almost like learning stuff.
Here's the real question then. Have you seen the movie The Big Short? Steve Carell?
No.
Put it on your list then.
You know what? I've heard that.
Oh, it's so good. Christian Bale? Brent, so good.
Really good?
Brent, watch it. Please.
All right.
Please.
I'll do it.
Goose, you seen it? The
Big Short?
The Big Short?
No.
Where the housing market goes. Oh, man. So
No,
good.
I haven't seen it.
So good.
So is it based off 08?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, if you're a fan of like those banking shows, you're going to like this one.
Well, I
don't know.
dial up the banking shows all the time.
Wall Street 2 with Michael Douglas.
I cannot find this guy, Austin Lane 1. I can't find it.
It's because he's conning all of you, and you guys are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker.
I don't understand why you don't like this guy so much. I bet he's the nicest guy in the world. He's got some things in common with you.
Because I've seen the movie Parasite, and I know those kind of people operate. And guess what? It doesn't end well.
So Tim, right? Tim was the one that reached out to him. I found it. And so he said Austin Lane 1 on Twitter instead of your handle.
Huge mistake, by the way, Tim, but I'll let it slide.
Well, in the backstory, if you didn't listen to his yesterday's, shame on you, but he said he's a wrestler, actor, Ghostbuster, Fear Factor champion, and radio personality. So, like, Tim finding this guy.
What do you mean a Ghostbuster, though?
I don't know.
Come on.
I mean, I was a little over the top, but I'm sure who knows.
Come on.
But so he writes back to Tim's question about or comment about quarterbacks and Super Bowls, and he said the key is getting elite play while under a team-friendly cap number or during a rookie deal. That's exactly what you usually say.
Hey, well, no.
It's his brother.
Time out.
This is
Time
Austin
out.
Lane's brother.
Time out. That's not what I usually say, okay? I'm way more in depth. The guy just went on Google, typed something in, and that's what was spewed out. How dare you compare my comments to that guy's comments? Shame on you, Brent.
Xavier Rhodes signed by the Colts.
Yeah,
and that happened like before we got Bachman on. Like,
speak it into existence.
It literally happened like a minute after.
That's your fault.
We talked about him.
That's your fault. When Gardner Minshew throws 2 pick sixes to Xavier Rhodes next year, I'm staring at you.
I'm afraid of that a little bit now. Like I think that's a good sign.
It doesn't make you feel good.
No, like they are actually. You know what? Here's the deal. I'll give credit. Like, you know me, I don't like giving credit to the Titans at all.
Yeah.
Don't normally do it, won't do it.
Oh.
The Colts right now, they go get Phillip Rivers. And again, I think it's a bit of a danger zone. I think it's one of those deals where you're going to be like, well, but it's a right move. Like, I'd be excited if I was the Colts. I really was. Like, if it was down here and you felt like you were close and go get Phillip Rivers, I get it.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about it. But then they go get DeForest Buckner. And then they back him up with some more San Francisco beef in the middle of Sheldon Day, who's not a bad player. He played here in Jacksonville, was a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
Not a bad player. So good depth play. And now you go get Xavier Rhodes, too. Mm-hmm. They're beefing up that defense. Now, a little risk-reward with Xavier Rhodes, risk-reward with Phillip Rivers. But I kind of like the risks they're taking. I mean, this is a 1-year deal for Rhodes, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
And they've got a ton of money. I don't know what the dollars are in it. But I like what the Colts are doing. I mean, the Colts, to me, are the team to beat in the AFC South. That's with Tennessee going to the AFC Championship game and keeping their guys.
Yeah.
I still think the Colts are the team to beat.
I mean, listen, you bolster your defense. That's going to be fantastic. So Austin Lane's got 14,600 followers on YouTube right now.
Not bad.
He's beating me. I think he's beating you, too.
That's pretty good on YouTube. So he's a YouTube guy.
I guess so.
I mean, you really didn't care about my Indianapolis Colts comments at all. You were all over this.
It's fantastic, but I mean, I just feel like there's a competition right now, man. Like, who's done more with the name? And it's getting to me because you guys are kind of taking his side sometimes, and I don't appreciate that. I'm sensitive.
I just want to get him on the show.
Careful, Brent. That's all I'm going to say. Careful.
Austin and Austin.
Careful.
How about, like, if I don't do a show one day, you guys can host it together?
No, absolutely not. Because hey,
that'd be confusing on
You
Twitter.
could call it like the AA podcast or something like that and make a battery reference.
And listen, if he wants to come take some of my shine away from my show, heaven forbid I come to his neck of the woods, ghost busting and wrestling and YouTubing, and I'll take some of his shine away, Brent. You ever see that documentary Face Off with John Travolta and Nick Cage?
Oh, yeah. That's not a documentary. That's a movie.
It's a documentary.
Face off.
Yeah, I can do that with Austin Lane right now if I want to. Austin Lane 1, I'm coming for you.
Face Off was awesome.
Oh, how good was that? It was so ridiculous. But it was a documentary.
Do I get any kind of credit here?
That's fantastic.
For the fact that I've seen Face Off.
Yeah, I've seen Face Off. Coos, have you?
Like, that's a great line from the movie. Face
off.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, man. Oh, so good.
You know Travolta lives over in Ocala.
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. I think he still does.
Why?
I don't know, but he does.
That's awesome.
All right, we're going to talk football.
Maybe.
Jack's defensive line. Plus 10 questions in 5 minutes. We even have that coming up. Not Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Gonna give me some of that going on,
Kuz.
It's unreal.
That's the most impressive thing Kuz has ever done.
Oh, without a doubt.
Here on the show.
That was very nice.
It's the best use of star 690 ever.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Family is big around here. We're family-owned, family-operated, family-managed. And that means legacy. That means dependability. That means using Grainger. With over 1.5 million products and knowledgeable product experts, Grainger has whatever we need. And with same-day pickup and next-day delivery options, they have it whenever we need it. For over 90 years, businesses like ours have trusted Grainger. Because, like family, Grainger's got our back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's times like these that remind us all of how precious life is and how our love and relationships are what really matter. At Diamonds Direct, we believe this. Your love and well-being are truly our passion. That's why we've decided to temporarily close our showrooms, a decision rooted in caution and compassion. But rest assured, we are still here for you. Diamonds Direct's experts are behind the scenes helping customers 24/7, giving you access via text, live chat, email, or our special customer hotline that you can call anytime. Remote shopping options and expert guidance are always available, and our commitment to serve you is stronger than ever. Please visit DiamondsDirect.com for more information or to start a remote shopping appointment. At Diamonds Direct, we're honored to be the symbol of your commitment to each other. And while we wait during this uncertain time, we encourage you to be safe, cautious, and courageous as we look forward to better days ahead. It's still your love, our passion, and nothing can change that. Not now, not ever.
Hey boss, have you heard about Safe Touch? They're now offering a free health and wellness package with every Safe Touch system.
Health and wellness package? Actually, that sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, well, not for us crooks. You know the Safe Touch two-way communicator?
Of course I know the Safe Touch two-way communicator.
Yeah, so we already know that it's the best deterrent against, crooks like us, but it can also be like a 911 dispatcher for other emergencies.
Like medical emergencies?
Yeah, there's the two-way communicator, the emergency buttons, the smartphone app. It's all just extra peace of mind for Safe Touch customers.
Great. As if people need another reason to get Safe Touch.
Well, the good news is it's not going to change our Crooks R Us motto,
Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Some things never change.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents, instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not on the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com. Or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663.
Everyone loves an upgrade. A corner table at your favorite restaurant. First class on a plane. Now is the time for you to upgrade. at Atlantic Infinity. Right now at Atlantic Infinity, you'll get more for your trade than ever before. And when you buy an Infinity, you'll replace that boring dashboard in your current vehicle and get more joy from your daily commute. You can afford a luxury Infinity. And right now, you can get more for your trade at the one and only Atlantic Infinity. 642-0200.
Be bold, Jacksonville, with Bold City Heating and Air. When it's hot, we turn on the AC. When it's colder, we flip on the heat. But are you getting the best value with your system? Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. Insulation is an important part of comfort and efficiency in your home. At Bold City Heating and Air, they offer free consultations and quotes on your insulation. Call 904-379-1648 or check out boldcityac.com. 5-star reviews on Facebook and Google. Be bold, Jacksonville, with Bold City Heating and Air.
What's that sound? It's the brakes. Are we sliding backwards?
Seriously, my dealership just checked them.
Brakes, transmissions, oil changes, check engine lights.
Get a free second opinion at AMCO with their free multi-point inspection and repair cost estimate. And get a free AC check while you're there. Find reviews and the locally owned AMCO Center nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
AMCO, AA, MCO.
O'Reilly. This is Jesse's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
As a nurse, not making it to work was not an option. But driving through the snow with my wiper blades struggling, I just didn't feel safe. So I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best 4G LTE networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Having a game without fans is just what is sport? What is the worst sport without fans? There's no excitement. There's no crying. There's no joy. That's what also brings up the competitive side of the players, to know that you're going on the road in a hostile environment. And yes, you're playing against that opponent in front of you, but you really want to kick the fans too.
You want to what?
Kick the fans' butt.
Is that what he was going for?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was trying to say, like, on the road.
Well, because he's supposed to, I think today or tomorrow, he was supposed to go back to Cleveland. Like, that was going to be, so he was talking about that. Like, you know, you want to be there.
Yeah.
You want to beat the fans. It's a hostile environment.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was just making sure I got the same context. We just said it still doesn't sound like LeBron James.
No.
It's on a phone, though. Like, it's literally like a FaceTime call.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, LeBron, you get a better connection, man. I mean,
That's
doesn't
what
he
I'm
do like
saying, man. Invest
AT&T
in a
commercials?
microphone.
I wouldn't put
Can you
that on
hear me
LeBron.
now?
I'd put that on the host, Richard Jefferson.
Once again, Richard Jefferson has LeBron James on his show, and we can't get LeBron James on our show.
It's not going to happen.
I have no idea.
Can I do an entire segment with a lifesaver in my mouth?
Is that what we're going with right now?
Well, I put one in, and then we're coming back. So we'll see if I can make it.
Well, I mean, you're not going to bite it like a madman, are you?
Nah, probably not.
Right? No,
I
you
might
can't do that.
Habitual.
You can't do that. Don't bite lifesavers or ice cream, man. If I see you bite ice cream, I will.
Bite ice cream.
Nicole
People
does
bite
that.
ice cream.
Do they really?
Yeah, psychopaths. No offense to your fiance. She's a lovely woman, but also psychopath.
Like,
biting ice cream.
whose teeth are that not sensitive that you can...
Kuz has my back here, dude. Like, you can't bite ice cream. Like, I'll have, like, a heart attack, I feel like.
Even, like, snow cones. She'll just, like, munch on them.
Come on. What are we talking about here? You have to lick it.
Yeah.
Come on.
You gum it to death or you lick it.
You gum it to death?
Somebody just won a plus 2,500 on the Action Sports Jacks live betting. Gum it to death. Who had that?
All right, everybody, have a good night. We're out. Oh, man.
Let's talk some football. Before we got in football, you see Indy 500 postponed. Yeah. They've already got a date, August 23rd. And also, how about Drew Brees, man? $5 million
right.
To the state of Louisiana, I think he said. I don't think it was just the city of New Orleans. I think it was the state of Louisiana.
Well, first of all,
you know what? I said to Steph, I was like, gosh, it's amazing how much money these guys make that they can just write a check for $5 million. It's extremely generous, by the way.
Yeah.
But that's a player donating a $5 million check for all the causes that are trying to help out right now. And on a lesser level, listen, I think anything counts. You don't have to donate $5 million to make the headlines for me.
You got to give Trey Herndon some props, man.
Trey Herndon, right? 10,000 meals. And by the way, that's a guy that's not making a lot of money.
No.
But donating some meals. I think it was 10,000 to Feeding Northeast Florida.
I love it, man. Props to Trey Herndon. That's awesome.
I feel like, and you probably can never have enough is the answer to this. I'm going to ask our news folks. But, I feel like Feeding Northeast Florida has been on the receiving end of some very nice deeds in the last couple of weeks. From the Players' Championship to Shad Khan, I think $75,000 of his $1 million was put toward that cause. Moments like this, and again, I'm not saying you can ever have enough. Don't stop helping out Feeding Northeast Florida. But my curiosity is, are some of these organizations that help feed the hungry doing pretty well in their battle in this time because some of the good deeds of others?
Yeah.
I don't know. Or the other way to look at it is some of they have more people to help than ever before because of this kind of situation we're in. So I just don't know. I think it's awesome that so many dollars and meals and helping hands are going toward that cause and helping feed the hungry here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as food banks, and shelters, I mean, that's what I did my charity work for when I would go to the Super Bowl. It would be for the Jacksonville Food Bank, where a profit of the dinner that we did went to the Jacksonville Food Bank. And yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of both ways, where they are making a lot more, money to help people with food and everything, but at the same time, there's people, out with jobs now and everything like that, and I'm making their income. So I'm sure the need for food is more prevalent than ever. And it's something that we kind of take for granted just because, we don't really think about how many hungry people there are out there, man, and including kids as well. And there's a lot more than you can imagine.
Absolutely. And by the way, that's probably only going to get amped up even more in the next couple of weeks and couple months.
Once again, props to Trey Herndon, man. Can't say that enough.
Yeah, good stuff. Kevin Harrison, by the way, jumped in on the conversation about Denard and said he wanted to play outside, but he's not very fast. Maybe that has something to do with it. Team wouldn't guarantee that he would get what he wanted. Just to circle back, if you just joined us, Darqueze Denard, who we thought was coming to Jacksonville, something broke down in the negotiations, and it's not happening. Darqueze Denard will not sign a 3-year deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So a very unusual situation. We're trying to figure out why, and Kevin jumped in with that. I don't know if he's getting that from somewhere or if he made that up, or if that's just his reasoning.
What was the exact
But he basically
quote Kevin said
he's not that fast, but he wants to play on the outside. Jags wouldn't guarantee that he could play on the outside. I don't know if that's, again, his opinion on it or not. We heard from Doug Marrone that he was going to have the chance to compete on the outside. So who knows? That's just one of the comments. Tim, by the way, says about the Colts, got old, slow, and unathletic. Rhodes was awful last year, allowed 59 catches on 70 targets. I get it. He was bad. Rivers was an interception machine. Chargers, weapons, or Colts, bad numbers. Who's the real DeForest Buckner? So he's not as concerned as about the Colts as I am. I think the Colts have done a very nice job.
I think the Colts have done a nice job, too. I mean, yes, once again, I've said it before, there's always risks in free agency and everything like that, but I think DeForest Buckner, I think the guy's the real deal, and Xavier Rhodes, yeah, he had a horrible season last year, somehow still a Pro Bowler, though, and I think that you're more confident with Xavier Rhodes than you are without Xavier Rhodes.
All right, early in the show, we took a look at the wide receiver position. We didn't even really expect to, but we landed on it and stuck to it, and it was a fun conversation about who the Jags could get, who would look at the part. Will they go after a first-round wide receiver? My opinion is no, they won't. I think they will go toward big guys. I won't rule out corner, even though I'm not a big fan of them going after corner in round one. I'm not sure they'll do that either. Yeah. If so, I think it will be more at 20 than it will be at 9. Okudah won't be available by then, in my opinion, so that kind of has something to do with the way I think about it. I'm not thinking they're going to – I think somebody's going to go jump at C.J. Henderson. I don't think the Jags will be that team to jump at C.J. Henderson from the University of Florida. So it really comes down to, do they want to go get a receiver? Do they want to go get an offensive lineman? Mm-hmm. Do they want – does like an Okudah fall to them? Or, quite frankly, it puts them right in the middle of the conversation for big fellas like Derek Brown and Javon Kinlaw. Yeah. Derek Brown's another one. Will he be available? Not so sure. But I think Mel Kiper Jr.'s latest – mock draft had Kinlaw all the way up to number 9, and the Jags taking him there.
Correct.
Take us through the defensive line. And by the way, and a part of this, and we'll get to it in a minute, is nobody's talking about anybody else. It's like Kinlaw Brown. Well, there's got to be some other people, right, on the defensive front that could be appetizing.
There are, but I think especially with the 9th pick, I mean, to me, it was just Derek Brown, right? But now, wherever, Mel Kiper's hearing his sources from or something like that, now all of a sudden Kinlaw, he has mocked going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll see how that plays out, when he releases his 4th mock draft. I always, obviously those things always change. It's insane just how much you start at something and then you just keep on going back and over again and it changes again. But when you talk about Derek Brown out of Auburn and you talk about Javon Kinlaw, out of South Carolina. Listen, it's funny because in terms of size and stature, Derek Brown, 6'5", 326, and Kinlaw is kind of around that same echelon. If you look at their numbers in terms of height and weight, pretty much the same. Now, these guys are built completely different, though. Derek Brown, obviously, he spent a majority of his time playing nose tackle, and he's made, his highlight plays, the plays that they're going to show, when he gets drafted, wherever it is in the first round, those plays have all come from the nose technique. On the other side, Javon Kinlaw has made most of his plays, and he's played all of the plays, but he's made most of his plays at the 3 technique. So right off the get-go, and this is where I guess where Mel Kiper is kind of coming from a little bit, if you look at the Jaguars' needs right now, obviously you have Avery Jones. You brought in Al Brooks from Seattle.
Woods.
Oh, I'm sorry, Al Woods.
Tiger's brother.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Al Woods from Seattle. So you have 2 nose tackles right there. Derek Brown can definitely play a 3 technique, no doubt about it, but keep in mind, all his plays have essentially come from the nose in college. On the other side, you have Javon Kinlaw, who I see more of that athletic type of freak kind of guy, right? Like they all rant and rave about his first step. So you have Derek Brown, who's more of the polished guy right now, who you can draft and kind of start day one. And then you have Javon Kinlaw, to me, who's more of the boomer bust type of player. I'm reminded of a conversation that he had, I believe, at the Senior Bowl. And this is the only time I've ever cringed in my life at Javon Kinlaw because the guy's story, number one, is amazing. We'll cover that in a second. But they asked Javon Kinlaw, tell us about your pass rush moves. Tell us how you get to the quarterback. And Javon Kinlaw stands in front of the entire media, and I could just imagine defensive coordinators and defensive line coaches just shaking their heads when he said this. He said, well, I really only have one move. I just like the bull rush. No.
Wrong answer.
Oh, you can't say that, Javon. Oh, who are the coaches at South Carolina? Can you prep the guy a little better? Even if that's a true statement, lie to me. Lie to me and say you got a long arm on disposal. Lie to me and say you have an inside just something. But no, Javon Kinlaw, and if you watch the film, you'll see it. Most of his success in rushing the quarterback has come by either running games and stunts, or it's come by using his bull rush. Now, I'm going to make the argument, obviously, when you get to the next level, you can't use that alone, okay? Because that's not what I did in college. I was bigger, I was faster, and I was stronger than a lot of offensive tackles that I went against. Now, Javon Kinlaw did all this against an Alabama offensive line who was very highly touted, and he made him look foolish. that was really one of the only games I got to see of Javon Kinlaw in whole. I watched the South Carolina-Alabama game, and he dominated, looked legit. And I think if you can do that against Alabama, well, then obviously your draft stock goes up a little bit. So the question that you have to ask if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, if you're Todd Wash, if you're the defensive line coaches, do I have the personnel? Do I have the coaching abilities to take Javon Kinlaw, who's very raw right now, who's this athletic freak, and can I turn him into a dominant 3 technique? Now, if the answer is yes, then I think you take him even over Derek Brown. If the answer is, I don't know, then you just let him go. I'm reminded of last year, Josh Allen gets drafted. Now, Josh Allen obviously had the pedigree of a premier pass rusher out of college. He had the numbers to back it up. But I think, the coaches did their due diligence and they did their part and helped out Josh Allen, right? And improved him a little bit as far as how he handles rushing the quarterback. Now, yes, Josh Allen has strides to improve on, obviously. He has to get better with his technique, his hands and all that. But I think for a first-year campaign, Josh Allen played fantastic. One could argue that if you take Javon Kinlaw, maybe you can teach him another move. Maybe you can just get him off the bull rush a little bit and use his speed and his athleticism to his advantage. One could say that. Other side, Derek Brown, once again. This is a guy who's a little less athletic than Javon Kinlaw. This is a guy who is a little better with his hands right now. The pad level's about the same, but I just think is a lot more of a polished player. But now keep in mind, what Derek Brown was asked to do at Auburn was essentially play the nose technique. So in terms of pass rushing, it's kind of not really that much there, right? Like Derek Brown's the guy that's going to push it like a double team. He's going to push some guys back and everything like that. So then once again, you have to ask the question, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, do you want to bring in a possible 3 technique who could grow into a beastly of a pass rusher? Or do you want to bring in a nose technique and possibly transition him to 3 technique who's already polished but is more accustomed to taking on double teams, who's going to be stout in the run game but could be a giant question mark in the pass game? Those are the questions you have to ask.
Let me just go with something we know.
Yep.
Kind of layman's terms it. And this might be a question you don't really know the answer to, but Marcel Darius turned into a guy that could do both, right? And play at a high level at both. I think in the Jags' heyday of when he came on board in the 17, because they had Malik Jackson, he was asked to be the run stopper, take on double teams, all those things. So even though he had been a 10-sack guy, that wasn't what they were looking for out of him. He became a run stopper and a hole plugger, if you will, and did it very well. Do you have any idea if coming out of Alabama, he could do both of those things at the time? Or did they transition him to be able to play
Do you mean
and be versatile?
Auburn, you mean?
No, Marcel Darius came out of Alabama.
Okay. So with Marcel Darius, he was that prototypical kind of like Derek Brown is, right? But what I think set Marcel Darius apart from even Derek Brown right now, it's something that I'm always adamant about when it comes to Marcel Darius, and that's the first step. Right now, to be fair, Derek Brown has a pretty good first step. I think Kinlaw has him beat though in explosiveness and get off. Okay, I'll just be honest with you. But when you watch the film of Marcel Darius, the guy is fantastic playing the run. You saw what happened last year when the Jaguars lost him and what happened in the run defending game. It was horrible, okay? But if you can see a guy's first step, you can kind of tell, listen, if you have a fast get off, if you have a fast first step and maybe you're used to playing the run, they can turn you into a pass rusher, Brent, right? Because you can teach a guy hand placement. You can teach a guy pass rush moves. You can teach a guy how to, fake and shimmy and stuff like that. But it's hard to teach a guy how to have a great first step. No, you can change stances up and you can, get in the weight room, get faster, stronger, all that stuff. But it's very rare where you can really increase someone's get off in their first step. I think Marcel Darius had the first step since day one. So that really transitioned well when he got to the NFL of utilizing that first step, obviously, in the pass rush game as well.
Okay, it's interesting because, again, I get a little worried when you talk about transitioning guys into another position and things like that. So if that's a little bit more an adaptable way to do it, a pretty easy transition, not that uncommon, then I'm okay with it. But if you start taking a guy in the top 10 and saying, hey, I'm going to need to do something that you haven't really done a lot, I get a little nervous about that. So your point is a good one.
Yeah.
Where do you see him? How do you want to use him? Especially early on in his career, allow him to be good at what he's good at and what got him drafted in the top 10.
Yeah.
I'd be very cognizant of that if I was the Jags and how the fit is for either one of these guys, Kinlaw or Brown.
Well, exactly. And I don't want to come across like, yeah, you have to draft Javon Kinlaw. You have to draft Javon Kinlaw because, I'm kind of saying a lot of cons right now for Derek Brown, primarily playing the nose technique. Can he play a 3 technique? But let me ask you this question, Brent. In terms of Javon Kinlaw, what are some of the attributes that I just described? He's very explosive. He's raw. He's athletic. He only really has a bull rush in his pass rush moves.
Dante Fowler?
No, I was going to say somebody else. Taven Bryan. Okay? I think Taven Bryan a couple years ago was that luxury pick. He was a guy that was raw. He was a guy that showed the get-off. He showed the explosiveness, and he showed the power and everything, but it was definitely a guy that you had to bring in and kind of teach the game to a little bit. Now, I think Jaguars fans would agree when I say maybe those teachings and everything haven't translated yet to a lot of on-the-field success for Taven Bryan. Now, the coaches love him, and we'll see how he does this year. But one could say, well, if you bring in Javon Kinlaw, once again, a guy who is known for his explosiveness, is a little raw right now, has to work on his hands, has to work on his pass rush skill set, well, then is that another Taven Bryan? One we'll see. And one more thing, too, as far as, the off-the-field things, I think these guys are both pretty good. I don't think they've really ever been in trouble. And Javon Kinlaw, we talked about the Senior Bowl. I mean, this was a guy who had to boil water just to take a shower every day or just to take a bath. He comes from extremely humble beginnings. When he went to JUCO, the first 2 days at JUCO, he didn't eat a meal because he didn't know that there were free meals, at lunch at the cafeteria. So he starved himself until a coach said, hey, you can eat. It's free. So that's just the type of guy that Javon Kinlaw is. So once again, I think that's a huge difference, Brent, in terms of mindset. We talk about Josh Allen. He's mature beyond his years. This guy, the way he approaches the game, it's like a 10-year vet. And maybe that's because he has a family. I don't know what it is, but whoever raised him raised Josh Allen right. And I think Javon Kinlaw, you can say the same thing in the standpoint of, you think he's really worried about, training camp? You think Javon Kinlaw is worried about getting double teamed and what to do? You think Javon Kinlaw is worried about getting to a place on time? No, man, because the guy's been through so much that football is just extra. He's just happy to be here right now. He's just happy to be drafted and take care of his family. So I think when you have guys like that as well, those guys can take you a long way.
All right, we'll wrap this up on these two guys especially, but it'll go beyond that in a moment. I think you got to be a little bit careful. Well, I don't know if this is true. I think we love Kinlaw's story, everything you just said about him, right? Mm-hmm. Does that sometimes drive a guy up a draft board is what I wonder. And maybe not a team's draft board, but all these mock draft boards.
Sure.
Because quite frankly, what has Kinlaw done in the last couple of weeks, maybe even 6 weeks, to have him climbing boards the way he's had? He got hurt at the Senior Bowl, actually.
But here's the thing, though, Brent. The biggest thing that Kinlaw's done in his literally career of college football was at the Senior Bowl. Because whoever he went against could not stop him.
True, and then he got hurt.
Yeah. And then
he got banged up.
Well, he got banged up, yeah. I mean, it could have been just like a business decision. But I think some of it was just the standpoint of, you know what? You're not going to make any bread in the Senior Bowl game because, let's be honest, I think coaches watch more of the practices than they do the game. And I think Kinlaw was dominating so much where someone probably his agent was just like, you know what? You're all good, man. Shut it down. We'll see it at the combine. We'll see it someplace else. So,
that's a good call.
So I think from that, Kinlaw, listen, he kind of came off the radar a little bit, and all of a sudden the Senior Bowl comes about, and everyone's talking about him. Well, that's for good reason, man, because nobody could blot Kinlaw. And one could argue that you face some of the best competition at the Senior Bowl.
Do the Jags have to reach for one of these guys potentially if they want this position? Because it's a huge drop-off, I would say, after that. Whether anywhere along the defensive line, even if you're talking about an edge rusher or one of these. I mean, in some of the rankings, they dropped some 20 spots.
Yeah.
Now, again, these are just rankings in terms of analysts and things like that, but there is a drop-off, there's a gap. This might be one of the biggest gaps in terms of premier players that people think in Kinlaw and Brown, and then the rest of the field. Who's anybody else like impress you that would be like, okay, if the Jags do, maybe they fall into an Okudah, or maybe they fall into a Simmons, or maybe they say we want to go offensive line. We feel like there's more value in the top 10 with a tackle or a receiver for Minshew. Well, then who at 20? Because it's a need. They want to fill some of that void on the defensive front. Could they fall back into somebody else not named Kinlaw or Brown? Because those are the only two names we really hear about.
Yeah, there's this other guy named Ross Blacklock, and I just so happened to fall upon him. He's from TCU, 3 technique. Played against Kansas, and I was randomly watching this Kansas game, and the guy stood out to me a lot. And obviously the announcers were very high on him. The thing with Ross Blacklock, once again, is the fact that there's a lot of intrigue because he's had an injury history, had a pretty good season last year, but everyone talks about like the athletic freak that he is, like even possibly more than Kinlaw is. All right, so there's that going on for him. Now he opted to leave this year to go to the draft, which I mean I think it's going to prove out to be a pretty good deal because they're saying possibly a first or second rounder. I think that if the Jaguars are to get him in the second round, I think it would be a pretty good get, assuming that they don't take Kinlaw or Brown in the first round. But once again, Brent, like I just feel like defensive tackle right now is a big need for the Jacksonville Jaguars going forward. And I think that they're not going to, take the risk of passing either on Brown or Kinlaw to take like a guy in the later rounds. I just think like you have to know what you want and you have to go get it. So I think defensive tackle is still going to be the primary position of need for that number 9 pick.
Well, we'll be interesting because some people don't think Derek Brown will make it there. So would the Jags reach at 9 with Kinlaw? Could be considered a reach at that time, even though there's not that much of a gap between 9 and 20. I'm not sure. I think people would still be okay with it. I think it's a little bit more risky, it looks like. That's not usually a risky position. I mean, we've done it before, right? Gerald McCoys, the Sues of the world.
Yeah.
Even a Marcel Darius, those guys come out and they ballyhooed, and for good reason, and they usually live up to it to some degree. It's hard to be a complete bust in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's happened, and I'm just not thinking of any right off the top of my head. But I just think if you make that kind of investment, it feels more of the safe pick, much like an offensive lineman kind of does. Now, will they reach all-pro level? That's a different story.
Let's keep in mind, though, when you got guys like Joe McCoy, though, you draft them and they come in right away and they make a difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, and if there is a red flag, it's with Kinlaw. It's that he has some stuff to learn still.
Yeah, he's raw.
So I mean, can you justify at the number 9 pick in a top 10, one of your drafts, or your top 10 draft, you're going to pick a guy who needs a little coaching, who needs to be coached up a little bit with his technique and his pass rush skill set, and you're literally taking a project at number 9? I mean, some people would say don't do it, and some people would say, well, the offer's still going to have to pass up. So I'm under the impression where I think he can come in right away and help you out in the run game, so that helps out. But once again, usually when you pick somebody in the top 10, Brent, you expect them to come in right away and make a difference.
One last thought. We're talking interior defensive linemen. Any chance, and I'm thinking at 20 here, if these guys, and we brought him up before, the kid from Iowa, Epinesa, I think it is.
But he's more of a defensive end.
He is.
But he could play 3 technique and definitely pass rush.
But I'm thinking more. I'm saying take your mind away from defensive tackle spot and say, well, they could use some depth there now at defensive end, no doubt. Right? Who knows what's going on with Jan? Who knows what the future is with Jan? And now with Gunter being able to play multiple positions, it could give you flexibility, even if you got the Epinesa kid, who obviously would play, I think, more that big end role, right? And even I think the kid out of LSU, Chason, he's highly thought of. Like if one of those guys are around at 20, you say, you know what? We see a lot of value here. And I'm thinking here with Kinlaw and Brown off the board by that time, and you didn't fit that need. I just don't think edge is out of the question, depending on how they view those guys in terms of value.
Let me say this, though. If you were to take an edge player, that's a depth play. All right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That's a depth play because you have Josh Allen, and we'll see with Yannick Ngakoue. Okay? So can you logically justify right now, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 20, taking an edge rusher as a depth play when maybe you could make an argument that you have so many more glaring needs right now on corner, maybe on offensive tackle, and things like that.
But is it bigger than a depth play if you're not sure Yannick Ngakoue is going to play?
See, once again, it kind of depends the defense that you want to run, right? Because if you're going to run the big end, then I think Gunter can play that. And if you're going to just have, one smaller defensive end, then that's obviously Josh Allen's position. So it depends on the defense a little bit. And let's be honest, if they do get an edge rusher in the first round, well, that could be a clue that maybe they're going to change the format around on the defensive front line a little bit. Maybe the big end's going to be out of there now.
Yeah, that could be more of a hint at that, which it seems like some of their moves have already hinted to some degree in that respect. All right, we get back 10 questions in 5 minutes. What do we got on the docket today, including one of the most disappointing athletes maybe of all time? Fair to say?
We'll see.
Who would it be? Who could it be? Story on that next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Temperatures in the 70s and 80s this afternoon will drop off nicely tonight under fair to partly cloudy skies with some areas of fog down to near 60 by morning. Hot, though, for tomorrow and Saturday under mostly sunny skies. Record-breaking heat in the low 90s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Jacksonville Truck Center is here to help you get in the truck you deserve. When you need a fleet vehicle, Jacksonville Truck Center has the largest selection of pre-owned commercial vehicles, including cargo vans and work trucks. We're here to make it easy for you. There's commercial or personal financing available, even if you have bad credit. Don't spend your tax return money anywhere else. Visit the new Jacksonville Truck Center on Arlington Expressway next to the Southside Connector or online at jacksonvilletruckcenter.com.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Vet Eye Care Animal Hospital, Mandarin Pet Emergency Hospital, Duval Asphalt, Vinny's Italian Restaurant, High Tide Burrito Company, Margaritas. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
Hey, boss, check out this headline. Safe Touch Security. Your health and safety are all we do.
Safe Touch again? Is that all you ever talk about?
Boss, your mom still has a Safe Touch security system, right?
That is correct. Don't make any comments.
No, I can't blame you. Having a Safe Touch system is like having a halo of protection surrounding her.
Exactly. For instance, let's say, God forbid, that she needed the fire department.
Not to worry, Safe Touch can respond.
Or let's say she stubbed her toe, the mother of all toe stubs, and she couldn't get to the phone.
Safe Touch can contact emergency toe fixes.
I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad Safe Touch is out there.
Boss!
I know, but that doesn't mean we don't stick to the Crooks of Us motto. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Shop now and save on these items and many more during the March into Spring sale at your neighborhood Ace. Proven winners, gorgeous Blew My Mind perennial flowers, just $4.99 in the 1-gallon size. Get Fertilome 1648 premium lawn food from Ace for $19.99 in the 40-pound bag. Wet and Forget mold and mildew cleaner in various sizes and applications on sale now from $15.99. Find more great deals and the location nearest you at acehardware.com. Sale ends March 30th.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
You can afford a luxury Infiniti. Right now, the one and only Atlantic Infiniti is offering more than ever before for your trade-in. Get more luxury, get more for your trade, and get it now at the one and only Atlantic Infiniti. 642-0200.
It's the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and it can be your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210, family owned and operated, and a fun course to play. The Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facility and player-friendly golf course design, it will be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. Become a member in 2020. For more information, call the Golf Club at Southampton at 904-287-PLAY.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 5, do not ignore your injuries. Right after an accident, most people don't realize how bad their injuries are. Injuries can get worse over time. Early medical treatment is crucial. Beware of clinics that treat only your neck and back. What about your knees, shoulders, head, and other injuries? Come see us. We'll talk about all your injuries and get you the compensation you deserve. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Offices in Jacksonville and throughout Florida.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida. But big and small, businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open to serve you. Jack Truck Center, Homespun Restaurant, Foreman Heating and Air, Gators Dockside, Crystal Clean Pools, Guabana Ice Pops. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we'll all get through this.
Hello, I'm Chuck Barnes. At Barnes & Cohen, we're pulling out all the stops to protect your health and ours. We have the latest software that enables our staff who are at high risk to work remotely without sacrificing first-class representation. Our offices remain open. We have a sanitized conference room, but maybe your best option, meet us here in our courtyard. Barnes & Cohen will continue to serve you in the safest way possible.
Hey boss, have you heard about SafeTouch? They're now offering a free health and wellness package with every SafeTouch system.
Health and wellness package? Actually, that sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, well, not for us crooks. You know the SafeTouch two-way communicator?
Yeah, of course I know the SafeTouch two-way communicator.
Yeah, so we already know that it's the best deterrent against, crooks like us, but it can also be like a 911 dispatcher for other emergencies.
Like medical emergencies.
Yeah, there's the two-way communicator, the emergency buttons, the smartphone app. It's all just extra peace of mind for SafeTouch customers.
Great. As if people need another reason to get SafeTouch.
Well, the good news is it's not going to change our Crooks R Us motto, stay away from SafeTouch houses.
Some things never change.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents, instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not on the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home. Get a virtual consultation. Visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com. Or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663.
All offers are with approved credit and not in conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Ram Truck Month.
We're having a sale so big, it's going to shape the way we do all sales. At Jacksonville, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Bay Meadows. Step up to Ram, and for a limited time, get up to $14,000 off MSRP. Every model, every option. Drive a brand new Jeep Cherokee from just $249 a month. Get the one you want and get up to $5,000 off. Jacksonville, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, I-295 and Bay Meadows.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Did you watch your 8-year-old son become a man during the halftime ceremony? He was looking at his 8-year-old, and it was a boy, went up again, and then he's like, okay.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jack.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690 and ESPN690.com.
Aside from the Bucks, what is your favorite team?
I was a Lakers fan growing up. Oh! I said growing up.
Oh, no, I gotta stop the life now.
I said I was a Lakers
fan. Oh, hell
fan.
no.
I said growing up.
Give us the context.
So that's Giannis. He went.
That was so you were telling us that.
He went live, and someone asked his girlfriend who her favorite team is other than the Bucks, and she said, "As a kid, I was a Lakers fan."
Yeah. First of all, Giannis said, H-E double hockey sticks, or hell, if you will. And that's like an F word for Giannis's vocabulary, because the guy is humble as they come. So props to her for making him so upset. I just hope that doesn't come back to haunt him. I hope that whole Lakers comment doesn't stick in his head.
There were, on Reddit, as you can imagine, a lot of people joking that the Lakers were going to sign her just to try to lure Giannis.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's dangerous with live Facebook or live whatever. Giannis, with your girlfriend sitting right there, you never know. I mean, what kind of questions you're going to get and might have to answer here.
Yeah.
Not that it's truth or dare, but still.
I mean, we
Once
go
again,
live every day.
it's the jungle out there, Brent. It's the jungle out there.
We go live every day. There's never too much of a problem.
Yeah, but we can screen what we want to answer.
Yeah. Plus, we're all males,
I guess he
too.
can,
so
too.
That's true. That's true.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Bring us your questions. Bring the heat. We're not afraid of it. One other thing about the draft stuff that we're talking about. I got a response from, let's see who it is. Drew. He had a lot of greater signs in this. Okudah, greater than Simmons, greater than Brown, greater than Wirfs or Wills, greater than Lamb, Judy, greater than Becton, greater than Kinlaw, Henderson.
Okay.
So I think leading the way was Okudah.
Okay. Well, and I think he's probably going to go to the Lions. So,
yeah.
I mean, at number 3, because they don't have Darius Slay anymore.
It makes a lot of sense. Who'd they sign again? They signed somebody.
You said they did. Nothing like Darius Slay, I don't think.
They signed right before they traded Slay. They signed somebody to a big deal, a decent deal. It was like 3 years. No, Slay deal was 3 years, $50 million. I thought the Lions signed somebody. Yeah.
Sorry, I've been keeping track of the Lions transactions.
I just thought it happened like a day prior to that one happening.
I can check it out, though.
Okay, Kuz, while he checks that out, let's do 10 questions in 5 minutes or 15 if we want to. We got that much left in the show.
Well, while Austin's doing that, I'll start with you, Brent. Tim Kirchin said the MLB will need to go into November if they do come back. Do you believe that? And do you think it would be bad for them?
To answer your question real quick, Desmond Trufant.
That's who they signed. Thank you very much. You're welcome. I thought you were going to do that in a Kirkshin voice.
Mickey Mouse.
Oh, we haven't done Kirchin. It is the opening day of baseball.
Yeah, Kirkshin. Listen, you might have to get into November. I can believe that part of it. Yeah, I can believe it. It's just a matter of how much they want to salvage. Here's what they're going to have to ask themselves. It's simple. Are we willing to play at neutral sites or in nearby sites that will be domed places? Because you're not playing baseball in New York on November 20th. You're just not. You can't do that. That's not. I don't think you can do that. You might be getting snowed out. Like,
heated gloves.
You seriously might get snowed out. I think it's kind of silly, to be honest with you, that baseball already goes into November. I think it should be done like the last week of October. Even if you had to slide it up, I would do that. I know it's chilly in March, too, in some places. But you can at least control that with the scheduling. You can go to play in Arizona and in Miami and Atlanta and places like that, at least to help with the climate. You can't control it when you have your playoff teams in November. So I think they have to ask themselves that question. Do we want to get more games in and push it all the way back to mid or late November and around Thanksgiving time, which could be kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But what we have to give up is potentially home playoff games. I think that's a tough sell. I think if I was a player, I think if I was an organization, I think as a body of Major League Baseball, I would say, I think that home field advantage, I think home crowds going nuts, that atmosphere around the World Series and playoff games, I think that's ultra important. And I'll risk 15 more games in the season for that.
Would you also be worried that maybe because of what's going on, fans may not be as around, I guess the word, with the, maybe not being able to afford it?
Bonus question.
Well, it's a good call. I don't know. I can't predict that part. I really can't. But I would say this. Let's just say they can, and people will find a way, or corporations who buy a lot of those kind of tickets anyway, find a way. I think baseball, as much as I believe they have a lot to lose this season because they could have their entire season canceled, in my opinion, they also have a lot to gain because they could take advantage of a little bit different of a calendar if it works that way, and also a shorter season where people get sleepy on the baseball season. There's 162 games. It lasts 6 months. I think they could keep people's attention because of the shorter span of games. So it could benefit them. It could be a big boom or bust year for Major League Baseball around this entire situation.
All right, Austin.
And that was our segment. 1 question in 5 minutes. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Hey, by the way, that was a good lead-off. Since it's opening day in Major League Baseball, it should be. That was a good lead-off. We've got peanuts. We've got Cracker Jacks here. And I'm having hot dogs and a big draft beer tonight.
I like that.
I was going to joke that you could say the MLB could hit a home run this season if they do it right.
Thank you. I'll leave that to you.
There you go.
But brats are hot dogs.
Ooh, both really, but
Right.
brats.
Brats, yeah. I'm with you, man. All right.
But hey, if you go to Fenway Park, I change everything up. It's an Italian sausage with peppers and onions, man. Can't beat it, and a little mustard on top of it.
Mouth is watering right now.
Oh, I want one right now.
Don't put ketchup on it, obviously.
No way.
Because we're not animals.
No.
Yeah. We're on the same boat.
I'm a big ketchup guy. But
try that Milwaukee. You get stabbed if you try that.
My question to you, actually, I just thought of this one on the fly since it is opening day.
Yeah.
Not you can't do burger, you can't do hot dog, but what's like the go-to snack that you can get? What's your favorite? Obviously peanuts. You could go cotton candy, pretzel. Yeah.
So say I'm at Miller Park right now.
Sure,
opening day. All right, so I'm gonna have an appetizer of about 8 Miller Lite tall boys. Then I'm gonna wash that down with let's go with the chorizo sausage. Got to have the Italian sausage. You know what? Let's put a German one in there too. Wash it down with, and then I'm going to get a Cactus League nachos, they call it. It's a giant Brewers baseball hat with nachos in it.
How about that?
Very good.
Going to have that for a little dessert, and then let's go ahead and have a little dessert with another Miller High Life and a hot dog.
Okay.
You went double dessert with the hot dog?
The double dessert, yeah.
You didn't get ice cream
I'm not a big sweet.
You're not a Dippin' Dots?
Throw a thing of Dippin' Dots in there too.
Dippin'
I
Dots
don't
are
know.
so... Dippin' Dots do nothing for me, man.
When you're 10, it's like, oh, what kind of black magic is this? Nowadays, man, nah.
Soft serve ice cream 100 times more than Dippin' Dots.
I can take a can of Pepto-Bismol drink, and it's the same thing as Dippin' Dots. It tastes exactly the same. No, unless they want to sponsor the show.
I was going to say, I don't
get the Dippin' Dots craze, man. I don't get it
either, man. Ice cream in the future, they say, Brent.
I don't.
Give me a break.
I'll give my soft serve ice cream instead in that helmet.
I'm with you. Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, Brent, the Indy 500 was postponed. Are you surprised they did it this early and didn't wait to see if they could maybe still get it? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that it's ever been postponed.
Yeah, and it's a Memorial Day, so you're talking about 2 months from now. But they run into an issue that I think a lot of other folks did, including the Olympics on a grander scale, but that is the international participation of that event. And I think this was a lot about getting on the calendar, too. I mean, you got to get the calendar right. You have to make commitments. I don't know what goes on in the logistical part of that, and maybe there's even some information out there on it. But I think part of it is travel and international travel. And it's clear as day. We're not going to be back to normal, I think, by Memorial Day. I mean, like normal. I mean, there might be some sense of normalcy, but I don't think we're going to get back to full-blown normal by Memorial Day. It doesn't feel that way, at least. So maybe they had to pencil something in. I think they moved it, to August 23rd. Maybe it was critical in getting that date, or that worked better, or I don't know. Could have been something logistical why they announced it now, but I'm okay with it. I also was okay if they wanted to wait, if they felt like they could, because I don't think it was an extreme rush to get it done 2 months out. But they gave everybody the heads up.
All right, Austin Bradley wrote this one on our stream. Terry Godwin headed to the Jags. What are your thoughts?
You know, it's depth. Coming from Carolina, I believe, right? 7th round.
He was with the Jags last year.
But I'm saying, originally, though, came from Carolina, 7th round pick. You know, special teams, depth purposes. We'll see how the Jaguars handle the draft this year with wide receivers. Could be a long shot to make, the final roster, but it's depth. It is what it is.
He was on the practice squad last year. I think he finished there, but you are right. Carolina Panthers. Obviously, Georgia Bulldog. He was 7th round here, 237th overall. Very good. He was on Jacksonville's practice squad last year and then was placed on reserve injured list in December.
There we go. All right.
That was not an interrupter. That was just a factual...
A fact update.
Okay.
We can add that as a thing too.
Factual update.
That was just making sure. Austin wasn't making something up on the odd question of Terry Godwin.
Yeah, I know. We have bonus questions and we have fast factual answers. Yeah,
all right. Brent, so something that they kind of talked about on Go Like a Wingo, LeBron mentioned it on the podcast I was listening earlier, where he was saying some teams may actually have an advantage because of COVID-19, being that if you're a bigger name player, you could be working out at home where some players may not be able to. So is there a team that kind of sticks out in your mind that actually may have an advantage when everything gets going again.
That's a good call. PJ Colutzmo brought this up yesterday when we had him on here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690, and I think it's a good call. Here's what I always say. You can work out in your own all you want, and it's good to, and you need to, and there's improvement. But it's so different when you work out in a team setting or at a facility that is made for that, and like whether it's Jags headquarters or somewhere else. So I don't know if there's an extreme advantage there. And Kuz, you know, all these guys make so much money now. I don't think you have to have like a family and 15 years tenure to have your own basketball court and gym. I mean, listen, Calais Campbell used to tell us a story. I mean, he spent $100,000 on his body a year. I would think these guys spend quite a bit of money on their bodies as well.
Yeah. Something I was thinking about is when I first heard that, because LeBron's angle was for him specifically, obviously, and he's like, well, now, like, my body's, like, used to going right now, and because I'm older, it's, like, slowed down, and so trying to get back into that's going to be wild. So I almost thought, like, maybe a younger team, the younger NBA teams might be able to bounce into it quick just because their bodies are younger.
That's a great call. I mean, I still think when we get back to playing, depending on how quick teams want to push it, watch the injury report, whether it's basketball and baseball, hockey, whatever it might be. Keep an eye on the injuries. This is going to be a big part of this story, and maybe it's not. But I think we're going, depending on how much like training time they give them as a team to ramp back up, especially a season like the NBA that was close to getting to the most important time of the year. I think we could see a lot of injuries.
Kuz, I like your style. Oh, okay, whatever. I'll jump in this one because I like what Kuz said here. The youngest rosters right now in the NBA by age: Phoenix Suns number 1, Chicago Bulls number 2, Golden State Warriors number 3, T-Wolves number 4, and Knicks number 5. They don't have to worry about going to the playoffs.
No.
So,
well, okay, so who's the most relevant team then next up that ladder?
They only gave top 5.
Oh, okay.
The oldest rosters, though: Houston Rockets number 1, Lakers number 2, Bucks number 3, Mavericks number 4, and the Jazz are number 5.
The Mavericks is kind of surprising, honestly, to me.
Yeah, because Luka and
it feels like a younger team, but I guess
Chris
not.
Stapps.
But
I don't know what meets the criteria, but
well, I mean, listen, the bottom line is when you have your 10, 11, 12 guys, they're probably older veterans. You know, guys have been around 14 years or something. So even the Bucks surprised me they were in that conversation.
For sure.
I'm surprised Atlanta wasn't up there just because they had oh my gosh, Vince Carter on the team.
Yeah, I think
he just offset him so much.
All right, Austin. Yes. So John Jones was arrested. This was a question that you kind of brought up, but we'll bring it up here. Is there a player that has essentially self-sabotaged more than him?
I think there's been a lot of self-sabotaging players, whether it's, Josh Gordon in the NFL. But when you talk about John Jones, first of all, let me just say this. John Jones will go down in history regardless of his out the cage record as the best mixed martial artist of all time. Okay, like the guy fought Vitor in his prime. The guy fought Machida. I mean, he went through everybody. We went through a murderer's row to even get the belt. He went through a murderer's row to keep the belt. So in my opinion, John Jones by far is the best mixed martial artist of all time. Now, I also think that John Jones is the biggest self-sabotager of all times, because I think this is the 5th case now where John Jones has been arrested for something, right? And I would say this is the NFL, though there would be a different set of rules that would follow the consequences of what John Jones has done. Being in the UFC or being in the fight game, I think it's a little more, casual in how upper management, how the CEO, Dana White, handles John Jones. Now, John Jones was arrested, I think, on Tuesday for drunk driving and also firing his, gun off in traffic or something like that.
Albuquerque.
In Albuquerque, New Mexico, where he trains and everything. And now police are, trying to trace the gun to see if it's had any, uses, in crimes and things like that. So we'll see how that pans out. But you want to talk about self-sabotage. I think no one's, done it better than John Jones, unfortunately. And this is why I've been so adamant, Brent, about people when you say that, should guys that beat up their girlfriends or should guys, that do these things, these horrible things, get allowed second chances. And I've always been very adamant that I draw the line on domestic abuse and I draw the line on child abuse, because it's a lot more than just making a mistake or getting caught in the moment. I think they're personality traits, and I think those personality traits stick with those people forever. John Jones one time hit a pregnant woman, while he had drugs on him, took off, hit and run, not to even ask if the lady was okay or not, okay? And I get it. John Jones throws, Bible verses around all the time, so he comes off like a good guy. But once again, it's personality traits, man. I think, overall, I think John Jones is a flawed character. And don't get twisted. We're all flawed. I understand that. But I just think that, John Jones makes mistake after mistake after mistake because that's a personality trait. And that's just the way it is. Just like NFL players make mistakes and they can never seem to get right, they're personality traits.
All right, and the next question for Brent, which actually follows that, which we had talked about in the break here, is who's the most disappointing Jag in history?
That's a long list, first of all.
Why does it look at me? Why did you just look at me?
You're not in that.
Keep your O-hosts on your own screen and look at the screen. I was waiting for it too. I'm like, is this...
He's going to look at me.
By the way, even when I look this way, I look at you.
Hey, and here's the thing.
And you're cut out.
Here's the best part about it. He looks up at me, he goes, oh.
It's a long list.
Man, I don't want to say it right now.
It's a long list.
But sorry,
I mean,
you
might be on it, but it's way down the right.
That was my interruption. Sorry.
Second one. Listen, from a self-sabotage standpoint, I think there's no bigger one than Justin Blackmon.
Yeah. Well, you could say Matt Jones too. Sorry, my bad.
No, but I don't. I think Matt Jones falls into line there, but I think Matt Jones was already going to be highly disappointing. So he actually fits Kuz's question, but I think Blaine Gabbert might be in that conversation. Derek Harvey might be in that conversation. But I think from a self-sabotage standpoint, to me, at least since I've been around here, Justin Blackmon takes the cake because that was a guy, in my opinion, I know some people disagree. I thought he was on his way to a perennial Pro Bowl career. I thought he was a special player, a really good player. I'm not sure he would have been top 3 receiver in the league, but I think he would have been a very, very good receiver in this league. So from a self-sabotage of John Jones kind of that fits him. From a flat-out just disappointment, again, the list is long, and I think Matt Jones is that because everybody had these high hopes, and it came kind of at an interesting time in franchise history. But I also think Derek Harvey would get lost in this conversation and fits it because I always say this, that was my first year here. They thought he was the final piece, and instead what it started was this downhill spiral that has led us all the way to 2020, quite frankly. They have not been able to get out of it, albeit that nice year in 2017. So Derek Harvey, in that respect, helped start this downward spiral for the Jacksonville Jaguars organization because he was a complete bust, and they had hoped he was a final piece to maybe beat New England and go to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. And everybody in the organization was wrong about that. And, of course, Harvey didn't live up to it.
I think we officially lost this one because we still have 3 questions. We're not going to make it.
Yeah, I see that. We could really extend if we wanted to.
We can do like a fast money round. What do you got?
I'm just telling you. All right. Which team has the most to prove in the AFC South?
Most to prove? Jacksonville Jaguars, because they're the ones that are kind of in the basement right now, so they have to come up.
Okay. Brent, will the Cowboys be better or worse next year?
Better.
Better? Austin, favorite player to watch in each main sport?
Oh, man. Okay.
Giannis.
Giannis in basketball, NHL, I'm going to say, I guess Dylan Larkin, even though it's whatever. It's a long story. Baseball, Yelich, duh. And what other sport am I missing? Oh, for football?
Football?
Gardner Jackson. Gardner Lamar Jackson. Gardner Minshew Jackson. Lamar Minshew. Got it. Yep.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you on TV tonight. ESPN690 and Fox 30. We'll do it again tomorrow. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN690. Be safe, be well. Have a good night.
The A-Sun Coach of the Year gets an extension. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau, and this is your Swoop Minute. Head men's basketball coach Matthew Driscoll agreed in principle to a new deal that extends his current contract to May of 2025. Driscoll just concluded his 11th season